If a man was singing karaoke with little kids on stool behind the scenes, would you call him a pedophile? If they were all Asian kids, if man had an agency to sell escorts, men and women, boys and girls, would you call him a pedophile? It's intimate knowledge of what age the pedos want them and how they operate. It's admitting to searching for child prongs on the internet. Would you call that a pedophile? If a man was caught searching Google for mother licks come off a daughter's face, would you call him a pedophile? If he said it was research, if he said it was research, locking underage girls in a pub, he ran trips to violent pictures with lady boys, a general fascination with dead kids on the internet. Sell them the pictures like pizza orders to America. Burning hard drives, would you call that a pedophile?
Oosh.
Admitting to taking candid iPhone snaps of strangers in public places, on public beaches, would you call that a pedophile?
Hi, you're with Scott. I'm Super Chuffer. It's midnight. It's always midnight. This is your right ear and your left ear. It's the show. Tonight, Alan is going to pop. Alan's going to pop. Alan's going to pop. You're going to do his blood pressure. Come on. Going to do his blood pressure.
Before, I know what to do. So I sat quiet, meditated, and I've just done it an hour before the show, and I got it back to 180.
There you go.
180.
So we'll talk blood pressure. We'll talk about what he's been saying, and also I'll do my own. I'm gonna do my own. Big ups you. Wait. What in order? What in order? First of all, hi, you chuffers. Dover and Dolly's mom, Brutally Honest Marv, big ups Joe, big ups Janabelle, big ups Kaz, big ups Amber, big ups Steve, big ups Brutally Honest Marv, big ups you chuffers, big ups Curious Cat, big ups the Irie Mies, big ups Tarry, big ups Teresa. We have got gifted memberships on this channel. There's some sort of glitch with YouTube where my membership gifting... Oh no, there it is. Look, I can do it now. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Well, those that were here early get the benefit, I suppose. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do it later. I want to do it later when there's more people. So remind me later. We've got the membership gifting to go. And if you want to do me a tippy, it's coffee.com. I should have that open as well, just in case. Let me open. I always forget that one. You can tip me with the super chats, of course. And... if you feel like you're getting good value out of your streamer, or you want your words written out on screen, you can tip me on coffee.com like this, and it'll read it out on the screen. So tonight we've got a bit of an Alan episode. Alan's having an episode, I tell you. Alan's having an episode. One of the things I wanted to do was get this piece of music up, but I didn't do this either. Not ready, I'm not ready. I don't know if this will probably get me, this will probably get us copyright, this will, but let's just listen to a bit of this quickly. This is the bit that'll get me done for the copyright. It's the most sounding like the copyright music bit of it all, so come on, do the singing, ladies. This is the Decibels female pop choir. I just found them just now. Right. Boom boom bobby. Boom boom bobby. Boom 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 bop bip bop bop bip bop bop bip bop. Actually, Alan's done a version, hasn't he? Alan's done his own version on his Smule, along with singing with the kids on Smule. You know, we're talking about Alan Vinnicombe, the Armchair Detective, a man who went on Smule to set up a collaboration room where children could talk to him live in the room, like talk to him. And it was him and a couple of kids. And he did this, what I think looks like after a big night out on the, big night in, on the old, big up Steve for the 199, thank you very much. It seems it's like his little end of the night thing, and he was leaning over the phone, leering into it, hands free, you could say, as he's put the phone down in front of him there, leering into it. Doesn't seem to be much interested in the singing. Seems quite interested in the kids. So that really happened. We found that on Smule, and that's why I call Alan a nonce. That's why. It's because I found him singing with kids on an internet site where other paedophiles use it, right, for grooming it. That's a fact. So, like, you know, the camera's in my way here, so let me just get this out of the way early then. So what's happening today is, first things first, let's have the camera. Come on, brain. Come on, Scotty brain, super Scotty brain. What's it called? It's called HDMI 2, isn't it? There it is. Let's have the camera. HDMI 2, this is my camera. Woo, woo, woo. It's lovely, isn't it? It's quite a nice quality picture image for my two cameras, isn't it? I got quite good quality on my stream. Good quality. Best tarot reader on Twitch. If you want your tarot done, get and see us on Twitch. I am the #1 tarot reader on Twitch, and that's not a joke. It's not just because I do it late at night. I am the most popular tarot reader on Twitch. So you want to get that, and also I do that for free. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to sign up for anything. I'm not trying to take your personal details. I'm not trying to sign you up to anything. I'm not trying to manipulate you with your personal information behind the scenes so you think you need my tarot readings. It's none of that. I don't even try and delve into your personal life. It's not a manipulation technique to make sure I've got some money because I'm desperate. No. Big up Steve Jones, 199 super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. There's some money. Whee! So the first thing to do though today is, this is a blood pressure monitor. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my own blood pressure. You'll see why later on. You'll definitely see why later on. Like, it will definitely become clear. But the first thing I'm going to do is my own blood pressure. Right then, how do you do this, bastard? Don't swear. That goes on your arm, doesn't it? Does I wonder if it matters which way up it goes? Probably not. Probably do it the same way up as the picture. There you go, that goes on your arm. The thing is, you can't really do this while you're talking to people on a stream, can you? Because you have to be like, just relaxed and chill, but I'll try. That goes on your arm like that. Here's another thing. Well, would you consider it, I'm going to say I beat Alan on. Here's another thing that I'll beat Alan on. Right, but would you consider it a win if I get a lower number?
There is no child porn on the internet. I hate to warn you that. There is no child porn on the internet. I checked. Alan
checked the internet for child porn. Would you consider the number a win or a loss if I get a higher or lower number? What are you looking for here?
AD. Torture the battery boy.
Torture the battery boy.
You know, what are we looking for here?
High heels on my tippies.
Are we looking for higher or lower? You tell me in chat. Are you looking for higher or lower while I bang out these buttons? I'm enjoying myself on the buttons. So.
Same bang.
Smoking while I do it as well. It's quite strong around my arm, this is. It's quite strong. It's a bit of a tense moment. I'm not supposed to talk. There you go. 110, 86, 81 pulse, which is quite high, but then I'm all like up from just doing a stream, aren't I? I don't know. Is that high or low? Is that high or low? What do you reckon? Shouldn't do it while smoking. I know, yeah, you shouldn't do it while talking and smoking and on the thing. Let's have a quick look at the blood pressure chart then. Blood pressure chart, and obviously we can't play a lot of this song, but obviously that's the song of the day. And also, I should bring this up, shouldn't I? I should totally bring this up. Alan has done his version of Under Pressure on this Smule already, so I should find this because it's funny as fuck. He goes bit it but bit it but, and it's really funny. Yeah, Under Pressure. Let me put that in another window and I'll find that as we go. Play it later. Little clips from it I will. And what I'm looking for now is the blood pressure chart. So what do the numbers mean? What do the numbers mean? Well, my numbers are 110 systolic, so that's fine, ideal blood pressure, and diastolic is 80, so that's just at the ideal blood pressure. I mean, it's just moving into, oh, you can't see it, hang on. It's just moving into the, I'm in the green there, basically, I'm in the green. I know there's some people out there who won't be, you know, and shouts out everyone with high blood pressure. It's a reasonably routine and relatively normal thing in the UK, isn't it? Because there's a lot of reasons why people get high blood pressure. One of the main things is we don't eat very well in the UK. People eat a lot of chips, a lot of fried food, a lot of crap, and a lot of butter, a lot of fats, a lot of animal products, and that will give you high blood pressure. A lot of cholesterol, a lot of eggs, all that sort of stuff, a lot of bacon, a lot of grease, and then they don't move around a lot and do a lot of exercise, so hearts, stuff like that. You know, we literally recently all had to stay in for a couple of years, didn't we? And during that time, most people just increased their alcohol consumption and didn't increase their exercise, so... But overall, like, shouts out everyone who's suffering with it. You know, it's not something that, high blood pressure. On the other hand, with Alan, right? And the reason I've done this, I need to remember this, 110 over 86. I need to write this down somewhere. I'll write it down here. 110, 86. Because I want to see if it goes up or down after the show. So I'll do the show, and then later on I'll do it again, and we'll see if it goes up or down. Because Alan seems to think that, obviously, this is what the focus of today is, that his high blood pressure is going up because of his live streams, and well, it's hilarious. Let's just say it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. But if you have got high blood pressure, then get to the doctor, have that looked at. Alan already has. He already has. And yeah, I don't have any big tips really, you know. Really, do I? What tips do I have? What do I know about it? What do I know about it? All I know is I'm looking on the other window for the actual song by a certain Mr. Vinnicombe. There it is. This is so funny. I mean, the problem is it's definitely copyrights, isn't it? So if you're watching this later, it'll probably be muted. But this is absolutely hilarious. If it'll work for me. Almost ready processing, no. What are you on about? Almost ready processing. If it'll work for me. There you go. Do.
Under pressure. I'm still standing.
He's still standing. Well, he sits mainly. Do.
Boom, 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 bap.
Boom, 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 bap.
Boom, bap, boom, bap, bap.
Boom, bap, boom, bap, bap. It says it, I reckon, on the karaoke when he does it. I reckon it says boo, boo, bap, 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 like Freddie Mercury, and he's just reading it. Pressure. So that exists. And also there's a video that exists, like I said, of Alan singing with children on that app as well. And the way he organised that was he created what's called a collaboration room. So on his phone he would have had the collaboration room on the app open, and then people would have joined in. He's the VIP member. You can see Alan is a VIP member there. And he would have been able to have the room set up. Kids can't set up the room, they're not VIP members. So he sets up the room, it's VIP, and then these little Asian kids, 1 or 2, 3 of them in this case, go in the room live. He can see them if they've got their cameras on, they can see him. They do some talking, I don't know how much, then he presses record on the song records, then at the end they can do some more talking until they decide to leave the room. I don't know what happens before and after. I don't know what happens. I don't know why they're all Asian kids. I don't know who's giving them access to the internet on their phone. Alan's got access to their bedroom themselves on this app. It's him singing with kids, look. You know that boy smiles, and like Alan is looking, all like peering over, looking down into the phone here, yeah? And this boy waves at him. Waves at him. Waves at him. He says they came on later and recorded it after. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Not here. No, they waved at him. See that? They wave at him. So that's a bit creepy and weird, isn't it? So look at his face. Once he was 7 years old. You can see that video on Send Trees. I'll put the link in the description here. That exists. He took it down eventually, but it exists. You know. Who's Alan? You don't know who Alan is? Fair enough. Alan is the unforgettable armchair detective who, for the last sort of 5 years, has been abusing families on the internet. Usually, it's families of crime. He rose to prominence grifting off the Chris Watts case, and Chris Watts, the family of the murder victims, are now suing him for defamation. So that's going to happen in October. He's going to go to court and hear the final judgment, and that's another reason he's very stressed. And this man took one of my pieces of work, a video that I had sort of edited a bit of. I mean, we don't want to go too hard down this because it makes it a bit silly. What happened was Paul Ansell did an interview for Channel 5, and it was part of a bigger programme that was like hours long, and there was adverts, and there was Into the Studio, and there was Peter Folding. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted this interview so I could react to it on a stream, and so we could help push forward the ideas with Nicola Bulley. So I edited out all of the crap and just left this. It's not my content. I don't own the copyright. So what I did was I put it on Send Trees backside channel, and I used it to react to on a stream. And I said, if anyone else wants to react to that on their channels, I'll leave it up so you can watch the unadulterated interview. You don't have to mess about. Of course, no one else has this now because they took down the Channel 5 programme. I mean, people now have this because they recorded it from where I put it up, but I was the one that put it up so everyone could get a copy. Alan took that exact video with my screen border and everything and uploaded it to his channel instead of just... He could have reacted to it on his channel. I wouldn't have said anything. You know, he could have said, shouts out Send Trees, this is where the video is, let's watch it. But instead, he just took it and uploaded it to his channel. 20,000 views, probably about 200 quid. I told him to take it down. That's where we start. He used to plagiarise my work as well, which was quite funny. And then since then, after a year, and we've had it for a year, so if you want to go and watch Battery Exhausted, this channel you're watching now, if you want to watch from the start, check out the playlist. There's a Alan playlist, The Saga, Angry Alan, and it's from start to finish. There it all is. There's some really hilarious moments, like when we find his Smule, for example, that account where he's doing the karaoke. That's really funny. And then it turns a bit dark when we discover the kids, and it all goes on. You know, it's all there. It's all there. It's all there, including this video, this special edition. And Alan, Armchair Detective, and Vinnicombe is not an nonce. This one, this special video. Alan's at home during lockdown. And so is Jill.
Such a big world.
I mean, you can see why I have a pop at him, can't you? Bit weird, innit? Bit weird. I mean, I don't think I'd be doing this, let alone putting it up on the internet, leaving it up on the internet, using Smule as an interaction tool for kids. And apparently I looked it up, it's in the news. Other kids have been like groomed through this process. So I don't know if Alan's using it for that reason, you know? Well, it looks like he is. You know? It bloody well looks like he is. So that's who Alan Vinnicombe is. Bit of a seedy noncer who has no place on YouTube anymore because he got banned for calling me homophobic slurs. And there were people out there for 5 years that wanted rid of him, but he got banned because of calling me homophobic slurs. I got him taken off the internet. Off YouTube, anyway. That's Alan the Armchair Detective. He'll enjoy that introduction. Here he is now. Shall we hear what he's got to say for himself?
Okay, I guess we're going to begin soon. My name's Alan. I am the Armchair Detective. This video is exclusive for my patrons. If you use it on YouTube, you're liable to be struck.
Struck, but not by you, because you've got no way of striking me because you don't have a YouTube channel anymore, you fucking knob. What am I trying to say? The problem we have with Alan's internet is that he's very, very bad at using his technology. So he's got a microphone that he doesn't plug in. Sometimes he has it behind him. I don't know if he's going to be loud enough. I will boost the volume on him. It will boost the background music. It annoys me. I like to be able to hear the background music. It's just a thing. Today, for some strange reason, actually I'm going to move the camera out of the way like that. There you go. For some strange reason, Alan is using extra filters today. He always does filters on his skin to make himself look smoother. He always does them on his teeth to make them look whiter. You know, he's probably a lot more ugly than you give him credit for. And then he's used a special filter today to blur out the background in a strange way to make it look like he's moving fast on a train or something. which is a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit strange, but nevertheless.
This is a private channel and a paywall.
And you notice he's slightly out of sync with the words. See that? He's slightly out of sync. That's not me doing that. That's him. That's his upload.
My patrons, if you use it on YouTube, you're liable to be struck.
Like, it's all Rumble's all crap, and his upload quality and capabilities all crap as well. So,
and a paywall.
So it looks stupid, but I don't know if you can hear it properly. So let me boost it up. Filters, compressor, and you've got to tell me in chat if he's too loud, the background music's too loud, or whatever. If it's a good balance. Okay.
Let me know when you can see me. Welcome to Patreon.
He seems really depressed again, doesn't he?
This video is exclusive for my patrons. If you use it, I'm ready when you are.
And of course, he deserves to feel depressed because he's a massive arsehole who's caused loads and loads of trouble for years and years, and he really is a narcissist. That's another thing I should have said. You know, in this title of this video, I could say something about narcissism and it might get more views because narcissism, but he really is a prime example of a narcissist. Today we're going to get pity party.
Normally someone tells me I'm live.
No one's going to tell you live anymore, Alan, because you've only got 6 people that follow you literally on his Patreon now. He's literally only down to 6 or 7. So, you know, you're really down to the bare bones now, Alan, and those people are quite dim.
That's what always happens. Thank you, Liz. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
So it starts off really depressing and then it gets funny towards the middle. Like, he switches in the middle and he plays the videos that we skip, so he switches in the middle. But look at the quality of his stream.
I got your...
Look at the quality of this stream. Riff Raff, you've got your...
poem you sent me, thank you.
Your poem. Riff Raff sent him a poem. Riff Raff, of course, is on the old... this is Riff Raff on TikTok, and this is Riff Raff's profile picture on TikTok. This is Riff Raff's profile picture on TikTok, and we know who's painted this, don't we? And we know who's fucking paid for it as well, you fucking insanity nutter.
Normally someone tells me I'm live.
Normally someone will tell you.
That's what always happens.
Usually happens, sometimes happens.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Riff Raff, I got your poem you sent me, thank you. Can't say I enjoyed reading it, but yeah, I understand what you had to say.
I wonder what that poem is. Sending in poems privately, you know, Riff Raff's a bit balmy, isn't she?
I've got like a couple...
If any of you want to send me poems, don't send them me privately, thanks.
Couple of things, main things I wanted. I've got a slight health problem.
He's got a slight health problem that we're going to get into. Obviously, we've already introduced the concept.
Until later, when everybody's here, but I just want you to know about it. I'm not in any danger. But
he's not in any danger, but later on he makes it. Like, remember that he's not in any danger.
I've got to be careful. Anyway, so what I want to talk about really is the goings on the last few weeks in the UK.
The goings on in the UK for the last few weeks. That would be the riots and all that business. That's strange to bring that up now in your Patreon after you deleted all of it. Alan, of course, was uploading racist videos and incitements to riot. He's still got a couple of them up. He's still got a couple of them up from when Palestine was going on, from when he's got illegal immigration solve game changer, civil war threat. He's got there's more Muslims in the UK than Lebanon. This video's called From the River to the Sea, Israel Leave or Die. That one's called. Like he's still got quite a lot of incendiary racist content up, but recently he did some quite racist content. We covered it on this channel, and then he took it down. Took it down after. That's gone now. That's gone. Of course, quite racist content is not acceptable. I can give you a little example of some racist content, actually. Right, here's an example of some racist content. You won't know who this is because I've changed the voice, so you can't come after me.
Yeah, something's got to change in this country. I mean, our country can't cope with what we need. You know, I can't just keep taking it. I'm not being basic. We can't keep taking everybody in and expect our country to not collapse. Let's look at the state of it. Yeah, we're expecting to change everything about, you know, we're not allowed to say certain words now. You know, we're about to change nursery rhymes that we grew up with. So we don't have them. We're not allowed to have Christmas.
We're not allowed to have Christmas. We've got to change all the nursery rhymes.
Or the Union Jack flag because it offends people.
I don't know about
I
that.
believe that should happen. If we went to that country, we wouldn't be able to dictate that, would we?
If we went to their country, we wouldn't be able to dictate that. It says what, in my opinion, sounds like quite a racist opinion there of saying the country's full and that they're trying to ban Christmas. I don't think they are trying to ban Christmas. I don't think political correctness has gone too far. As I said, I changed that voice, so you can't really tell who it is. You'll have to make a guess yourself. But, you know, got the original clips. Alan's done his own particular racist tirades. They're all the people have been out there, you know, all the people with the views have been out there, haven't they? The difference is some of them have deleted, like quite a lot of them now have deleted those episodes. You know, obviously I've got the clips, I've got the recordings, but they're scared, aren't they? Like Alan deleted his most recent stuff about all this, like, you know, he literally was banging it and he deleted it because he's scared, because he thinks he's going to get arrested. We covered it on this show. We've already covered that on this show. Although we covered this, haven't we, Alan? We covered that. But on this show, we've totally covered it. I'll show you quickly. Super chuffer battery exhausted. Let's view my channel. If you look at the videos, it's this one. Alan Bitter Lemon. Is Angry Alan going to prison for inciting hate? And of course, his other stuff that we've covered that is like this. These two are members' videos. Luke and John Wedger say disgraceful things about Southport. Southport worst ever Alan stream. I can't consciously, you know, consciously, in good conscience, put them on as like, hey, content, monetize, advertising. Like, I just think it's an awful thing. But I'm considering putting those live so that you know what they said, you know. But members' content exists on this channel. There's loads of good stuff, and I've got a new members video to drop today. Plus, there's this really cool one about this guy eating these noodles. So, members' content exists for the slightly edgier, or just I'm not quite sure. It goes members. You know, there's Alan. Anyway, there's Alan. We're talking about negative, bad people. People like Alan who just watch the news on their show, who like just rip the news from everywhere else, and then also don't believe in the mainstream, who think the mainstream is like some sort of clandestine conspiracy theory, and they don't believe, like, you know, some people out there, I don't know if Alan believes this, but some people out there think that, you know, the disease that swept the world and we all had to get locked down, they think that was fake and all this, and yet they will still put the news. They will still report the news from the news on their shows. Like there's new Allens on the internet all the time. There's people who want to take up that mantle and run with it because they think there's some money in it, some way of getting people clicked through to their Patreon. I think it's all a grift. You know, all these true crimers, and imagine, you know, don't even get me. Actually, let's just not get me on that. Let's stick on Alan. But yeah, so if you want to know about what he's been doing, all the racism, it's all there. It's all been recorded. We'll close Riff Raff's window. Bye, little doggy. It's all there. It's all been recorded. And racism is terrible. And I think that's one of the reasons he probably got kicked off YouTube, because he was doing those racist rant things. I did report them. But this for me is slightly worse, I think, this stuff.
We thought we were bigger than the world, right?
And what I find really weird about it in this context is that if you're going to be racist, that's one thing. But if you're going to be racist and then sing within, like, these kids are obviously Asian. Like, there's obviously some Asian influence in their DNA here, isn't there? Like, they've got names that are Asian and they look Asian, yeah? So why is Alan singing with, like, 3 Asian kids on Smule if he's racist? Like, my worry is that they might consider these kids to be, like, beneath them socially, the racists, and use them for, like, content. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It, like, has all these extra weird connotations now that you know he's a massive racist. So, yeah, anyway, sorry, Alan, you were saying.
Now, you know, for years I've been hounded on YouTube, and people have made loads of accusations against me, including that I'm a sex offender, I've got children, I should be in jail for tax fraud.
Well, you didn't have, it's not that you should be in jail for tax fraud, Alan, it's that you already got penalised by the HMRC. You've been banned for running a business for 6 years because you wouldn't hand in the books, and that's probably because you weren't doing the books properly, isn't it? Yeah, so you got done, but your son managed to evade that, and he can carry on running the pub, but you can't. So, So when it comes to tax fraud, yeah, there are questions. There's huge questions about the amount of money that was going through your channel and about whether any of it was laundered. Like, there's all sorts of questions, but you can answer those with the HMRC. That's not really our current, like, focus, is it? That's not the main thing. But yeah, tax fraud, if you want to bring it up. Oh yeah, and also calling you a P. Well, like I said, like, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it sings on Smule with kids, then, like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, that's nonsense. Like, that's nonsense. Yeah. So, it is what it is, I'm afraid, Alan. It is what it is.
Oh, I don't know, loads of things, right?
Oh yeah, and sorry, that's not the full list, is it? Because we did the song at the start. You know, locking kids in a pub in Bristol, modelling agency for men, women, boys and girls, which wasn't a model agency, it was an escort agency, which didn't do any actual escort jobs, but you could contact him through Facebook. Secret intimate knowledge of, like, I say it's secret intimate knowledge. Like, he did shows where he talked about what paedophiles behave like and what they do, and like how, like their selection process for children. And it was educational, because I never heard of these things. I didn't know. There's like ideas I hadn't thought of. He knows all about it. Yeah, there's more to it. It's in that song. I'll play it again later.
Ainsley, the sex offender ones are the worst. It's not true. Plus, it's the worst thing you can call a man.
Hey, yo, in chat, I'm not here to have a political discussion today. Like, don't argue about political stuff with each other. Please, thanks, really. You know.
And I contacted the police about one YouTuber that was doing this on a consistent basis. And I did call him in.
I mean, I get the benefit of stating my opinion. You can state yours, but then don't argue with each other in chat. That's all, you know.
Questioning, and somehow he got off. I don't know. Probably some sort of health. Get out of jail health, or not, mental health, something like that. Anyway, he got off.
What are you going on about, Alan?
I don't know, loads of things, right? But Mainsley, the sex offender ones are the worst. It's not true.
The sex offender one is the worst. It's not true. I really wish I could body language this, but he's put these weird filters on, so his video is so stoppy, starty, jerky. But apparently it's not true, the sex offender stuff. Although, again, like, this might can be considered enough by some people. It certainly is by me. If I had kids and I walked in and I saw on their phone that Alan was leaning over the phone and singing live in a little room with them, like, I'd grab that phone and I'd be really cross. And not so much with the kids, you know, I'd be quite gentle and careful with the kid. But with Alan, I'd be very, very cross. You know, I think the parents of this child might consider Alan's status, you know.
Plus, it's the worst thing you can call a man.
It's the worst thing you can do, Alan. Like, you've done it. Like, that's your fault. I haven't done that. You've done that.
And I contacted the police about one YouTuber that...
Yeah, he tried to get the police. He sent them to me. They came to my front door. And my sister, the first time they came, my sister said, he's in bed. What do you want? And they said, oh, we can't arrest him. It's not anything like that. We just want to talk to him. They said, well, you're going to have to come back. Like, he ain't getting up for you. And I rang them up and said, what do you want? What's going on? And they were like, well, I need to speak to you about Mr. Vinnicombe. And I told them, fucking bollocks, come on, this man's an arse. I've reported him already. Eventually, I did call them back and say, okay, you know what? I'll come down. I've got my ducks in order. Got my solicitor. Let's go. And they didn't arrest me. There was no arrest. But I went down and told them everything, explained it all. They played me the clips. We've talked about it. We've done an episode again, shout my own trumpet. Go and watch it on this channel. It's called Angry Alan Sends the Police. And it is funny. It is funny. You'll be able to find... There it is. Angry Alan Sent the Police. It is funny. Because the police eventually agreed with me after an interview, quite voluntarily, with my solicitor, that I'd done nothing wrong and that Angry Alan was using fake... he was reporting things and he was wrong. So they put a flag on him. So if he reports me anymore, the police are going to go around his house and deal with him. They're not going to come to talk to me. They put a red flag on his name on the computer system for the police to say that he's harassing the police and harassing me. And if I want to take it any further, they asked me if I want to take it further. And I said, no, I can't be asked. But they said, you've got it all lined up. You've got it in the bank. There's no... for defamation, for example, there's a statute of limitation. But for a crime like this, there's no statute of limitation. So if I want to pick this up in 5 years, if Alan does something weird, I can just go straight to the police. We'll pick up where we left off and he'll have the police around his house. He's also worried about the police coming around his house because of the racism that he'd done, because that racism on the internet doesn't just disappear, and they're going to be going up till Christmas to get those backlogged, the backlogs of that. They'll be watching, they'll be looking, so he's going to have that hanging over him, and he's got the court case as well. So under pressure, isn't it? Under pressure.
Pushing down on me.
was doing this on a consistent basis, and I did call him in for questioning, and somehow he got off. I don't know. Called
him in for questioning. Do you see? See the way he twists it, and he got off. There's nothing to get off. I was never detained.
Probably some sort of health.
Probably health. There was nothing to do with health. I was able to take my dad. My dad, I love my dad. He's one of my best friends, isn't he? And he wanted to go to the police with me. He was like, "Can I come?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you want." Yeah. So we went, and they said, to get the adult in the room, they said, wink, wink, is there anything you need your dad in the room for? I said, oh, I take an anti-anxiety medication. I'm going to need my dad in the room. They were like, fair enough, come on, in he comes. It was all fun and games.
Get out of jail health, or mental health, something like that.
Did the police check the Smule videos? I did, forward them to them, and they had to forward them to Alan's particular, station. I think it's hard, isn't it? You know, it's hard to follow that up, I guess. I don't know, you know. I think maybe if I forwarded them everything since and made it really clear for them in a file, like, you know, but then again, like, you know, it's the police's job, not mine, isn't it? But
anyway, he got off. And then, lo and behold, a few months later, we hear that Mr. Starmer is making loads of prison places empty,
right,
seemingly ready for this onslaught of jailed YouTubers, Twitters, Facebook users.
You mean racists and right-wingers?
Etc. So now suddenly the crime that was perpetrated on me was not in crime. Oh no, that's a civil matter. We can't do anything about it.
Right, there was no crime perpetrated on you, Alan. Is calling you a nonce on the internet based on this evidence, yeah? That's not a crime. As you say, you could take it up as a civil matter, but you can't because you haven't got any monies and you're not going to. So, like, you could, but it's not a crime.
Suddenly, people posting on social media are jailed for 5 years.
Yeah, because of the things they posted about racism and stuff like you did, Alan. The people that posted stuff like you. So what this is a classic case of Darvo. Do you know what Darvo is? Have you ever heard of Darvo? You should have done, because on Super Chuffer we did all about racism. We did all about narcissism, didn't we? Darvo is an acronym for Deny, Attack, Reverse, Victim and Offender. So this is what perpetrators of wrongdoing, such as sexual offenders, may do. It says it here on the internet. Sexual offenders are quite likely to do this. And it's something that narcissists do as well. So first of all, you deny you did it. I didn't do it. It's not true, Alan just said. Then you attack. Go on the attack. This other YouTuber, this Super Chuffer, he's had the police round. He sent the police to me, didn't he? Attacked. Then you reverse victim and offender. So now you reverse the idea. So Alan is now the one that's attacking. Turns out later on, you know, other people have done this. You point at Super Chuffer himself and say, oh, you're probably the bad one, in actual fact. It's my fault for discovering this and bringing it to the public. Yeah? Well, it's not my fault. I didn't do this. But, you know, now all of a sudden I'll be the bad one, won't I? I'll be the bad one. It's called Darvo. It's classic.
5 years.
And I haven't been doing that for 5 years. I've been doing that for 6 months since we discovered it.
Change of tune, isn't it? That's a change of tune by the police, the CPS. Oh, we can't deal with that. That's a civil case. And they're suddenly posting much less things than calling somebody a P, but got them in jail.
I wouldn't say they're less, Alan, and they're different. So again, you're getting confused. The law has not changed to suddenly back you now. Like, everything's still the same. It's just that you're in more trouble because you've been posting your racist tirades on the internet, and that's incitement to riot and hatred, and you're going to go down for that if they see it and decide that it's worth prosecuting you. And it's only a matter of time till they see it and work through the backlog of those videos, and then it's up to them, the CPS. So you're in line, not me. I'm not worried at all.
But there is some sort of light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, it's a train for you.
That Starmer's going to get stuck.
And you know who's driving it?
Into YouTube. Or else, if you don't start removing this content, or else, we're going to fine you like $50 billion. That'll make them jump.
I don't know what he's going on about here. Who's fining who $50 billion?
I think in the future, it's going to be very, very hard, in the UK at least, to accuse people of sexual crimes, rape, anything. You'll be banged up.
Right, you'll be banged up by accusing people. Yeah, fair enough, but it's also quite easy to show these videos and let other people decide for themselves. I'll call you Nancy. I'll say it because that's my opinion, because I've seen this and I think it is. So, but yeah, fine.
Which I'm pleased about, because I've never been one to accuse anybody of anything.
Oh my God, he's never been anyone to accuse anyone of anything. We need some sort of bingo card. This is like a bingo. This is Full House. Like, what is he talking about? He's never. Can you hear him talking in chat? Is this the same man? Do we all know what we're talking about here? This is a man who's never accused anybody of anything. Can anybody in chat write any names of anybody that Alan has accused of anything? In chat now, before I press unpause, you know, can you remember Alan ever accusing anyone of anything? Can anybody remember any names of anyone that Alan's ever accused of anything? I'll help you out if you want. I'll start. He's accused Dian. He's accused Sex Mad Val, Cartoon Lady. He's accused, well, me. He's accused anyone famous? Can you think of anyone famous? I mean, he's doing a court case, isn't he? He's having a court case for defamation because of accusations he's made, isn't he? About the Rusick family, about certain court case. Sex Mad Val. You don't know Sex Mad Val? Well, check out the previous videos. She's
Bottom
quite
main
sex mad. Val is quite nice. She's a nice lady, and Alan accused her of being sex mad. So,
or else, if you don't start removing this content, or else we're going to fine you like $50 billion.
dollars.
That'll make them jump.
That'll make him jump. Yeah.
I think in the future, it's going to be very, very hard, in the UK at least, to accuse people of sexual crimes, rape, and anything. You'll be banged on, which I'm pleased about, because I've never been one to accuse anybody of anything. What main care to do with the murders, and she's saying, I admit I said that.
Apart from, and it glitched a bit, but apart from NK, Nicole Kessinger, and murder, I've never accused anyone of anything, apart from one lady who I accused of murder. And the police of covering it up, he fails to mention. He accused them of that. And on top of that, so we've got the murder, the police covering it up, and we've got accusing the family of knowing something that they didn't tell the police. You know, there's quite a list there.
But that's just, I want an investigation.
That's just one of the investigations, though, so that doesn't count. But of course, like we said, Alan, all the other people that you've consistently and constantly gone on about on the internet and accused of all sorts of things, there's a huge list, you idiot. It's quite funny, isn't it? Like the word in chat there, big ups new hobby, the hypocrisy. Like it's quite funny to hear it. Like, it's actually quite hilarious. I put hilarious. Like when I was preparing for this, to be honest, I've looked through this one to confirm that it's like, you know, YouTube worthy, and it bloody well is. But it takes the edge off for me laughing out loud at the first time I hear it, because that is fucking bizarre. I've never accused anyone of anything apart from Nicole, who I accused of murder. It's quite a serious accusation, though, isn't it? When you think about it.
Banged on, which I'm pleased about, because I've never been one to accuse anybody of anything. What main care to do with the murders, and she's saying, I admit I said that, but that's just, I want an investigation. But these accusations against me, people are being jailed for less now.
No, they're not. People are not being jailed for this, Alan. You're confused. I don't think he is confused, though. I think he's just trying to make me worry, but I'm not worried.
If you're going to crack down on one, you've got to crack down on all.
Yeah, you've got to crack down on the people who said things like, this country's too full. Send them back. You know, like all that attitude. All that attitude. There were people in front of the hotel defending it from the racist bad people, and there were people on the other side, certain YouTubers filming it, on the other side, amongst the bad people, the racists, the ones who are all getting arrested. So you want to be careful about which perspective you show and support with your words, don't you? Or at least Alan needed to. He's had to take those down now.
So they're considering a review of online safety bill legislation that requires tech giants to prevent the spread of illegal and harmful content on their platforms.
So now he's talking about the online safety bill, tech giants, illegal and harmful content. Isn't he? Actually, something I'll just throw in the mix here is, do you know, they all said it was from Russia, didn't they? The start of that riot. They said that, the bad information came from Russia, and it turns out it came from Pakistan today. Put it in the news, they said, that someone from Pakistan put it up, and that they found it posted by someone from the UK on Twitter. So it actually fed all the way back to the UK. But, well, you know, those facts are undetermined. It was just in the news. But, yeah, like, now we're talking about this online safety and security, but we're talking about international, like, manipulation of, like, ideas that have caused riots. We're not talking about people calling Alan a nonce for singing with kids on Smule. That's not what we're talking about here. But Alan seems to think we can. He's done this before many a time. He tried to twist malicious communications against us, like to say that we can be done for that. He's tried to twist all sorts. And usually he's the one that's the perpetrator of these crimes. It's Darvo. He is in line for a visit by the police because he has done these things. And that's not to cause him alarm and distress. That's like he's talking about that issue and I'm just reacting to it.
So sources are telling the press, but they're not authorised.
Tomato sources.
To speak publicly about the changes. Because it's ongoing with the MPs at the moment.
Touching his nose.
Now in the UK, the Online Safety Act is a landmark piece of legislation in the UK seek to force social media networks and
It's difficult listening to him talk while he's reading things and his internet is bad.
X, Facebook, YouTube.
I know what the social media things are, Alan.
To rid their platforms of illegal content. What is illegal content?
What is illegal content?
It's certainly changed from what it was because YouTube had done nothing about the person that calls me a B.
Hello.
for a year now. Nothing.
And it hasn't been a year, Alan. Has it? Go back and check the videos. Has it? Oh, a year. Actually, yeah. 25th of June, 2023. A full year of him being exposed on the internet for singing with kids on Smule.
Police have tried, but the actual YouTube have done nothing.
The reason YouTube didn't do nothing, and the police didn't try, Alan, they tried to sort out your fucking nonsense, and they've ended up going back on you and saying, look, we tried to stop you fucking doing any more of it, you bad chuffer. Yeah, YouTube didn't get rid of me because there's nothing to get rid of. Like, protecting kids on the internet in a very careful way without going too far is fine.
So there are several examples of content that, if reported, could make the company. These include child abuse, fraud.
You're right, Deborah. He did. This was before my time, wasn't it? When the the previous goings on, before he'd even met me on the internet, so to speak. He said that the police had been round and they'd taken his computer stuff and checked it, and that he hadn't done anything wrong. And that was part of when he said that he'd searched the internet.
There is no child porn on the internet. I hate to warn you that. There is no child porn on the internet. I checked.
But he also told us about how he knows how to destroy hard drives, and how he took how he knows how to destroy hard drives with fire. So that makes you worry, doesn't it?
Racial or religious aggravated infection. Oh no, that's a civil matter. We can't do anything. I think in the future it's going to be very, very hard, in the UK at least.
I just skipped it by mistake. Did I go forward or back?
It's the worst thing you can call a map. That's a civil matter. We can't do a safety bill. Legislation that requires text giants to prevent the spread of illegal and harmful content with the MPs at the moment.
I'm skipping around because I've just lost my place. Let's just go from here.
So sources are telling the
Tomato
press,
sauce.
but they're not authorised to speak publicly about the changes because it's ongoing.
That's it, Marcel. He checked. Also, he had. We've got another video called "Angry Alan versus the Porn Industry," where Alan Vinnicombe went on the internet and searched for "mother licks cun off daughter's face." Mother licks cun off daughter's face. He couldn't spell all the words right, and he accidentally showed his Google search, and it had that on it, right? So that video exists on this channel called "Angry Alan versus the Porn Industry," because he pretended he'd done that because he was doing a documentary about bad stuff on the internet and porn. So he pretended it was a documentary, and his documentary was 20 minutes long, and it was just him rambling over some footage of him walking around the park. So he didn't do a documentary, it was lies, and he had been searching.
There is no child porn on the internet. I hate to warn you that. There is no child porn on the internet. I checked.
And what if he checked the internet and he found some, then he would have committed a crime, wouldn't he? So he's lucky that there isn't any on the internet when he checked, because if he checked and he found some, he would have committed a crime. Searching the internet for that is criminal. You have to, if you're going to do a documentary, you have to go to the police and say, "Hi, I'm a media producer and I intend to use the internet to try and look at this really bad subject, and I'm going to need some police help because I'm going to be committing some crimes." It's for the documentary, and they will lead you through it and help you with it if you're doing it legitimately, which obviously there's a very small line of people who are legitimately doing that. Do you know what I mean? But other people who have tried to use the defence of "I was doing research" includes two notable people who have actually gone to prison for it in the media world, isn't there? So one of them was the singer of a band, wasn't it? And one of them was on the telly. Like, we looked at it all in the episode called Angry Alan versus the Porn Industry. Like, it really is worth it, if you're watching my stuff, to go back over the playlist and have a look at the Angry Alan playlist, because that has got it all in there. And oh my god, it seems like, week in, week out, it just never stops. Do you know what I mean? It just seems it never stops. We're always digging and uncovering and finding, because he's lived a life of absolute debauchery, because he's a bad person.
With the MPs at the moment. Now, in the UK, the Online Safety Act is a landmark piece of legislation in the UK seek to force social media networks and X, Facebook, YouTube, etc. to rid their platforms of illegal content. What is illegal content? Well, it's certainly changed from what it was, because YouTube had done nothing about the person that calls me a B for a year now. Nothing. The police have tried, but the actual YouTube have done nothing. So there are several examples of content that, if reported, could make the company. These include child abuse, fraud, racial or religious aggravated offences, incitement to and terrorism. Well, mine were incitement to violence. Someone was giving out my address and saying they're going to contact groups that deal with peas and tell them my address, which they
Right, so Alan posted his own address on Patreon publicly. He posted a document on Patreon, right, with his address on it publicly. So I don't have to give Alan's address out, he's giving it out publicly. His own defence for his own defamation case is that the information he shared, the phone number of Frankie Rusick, was publicly available, shared by someone else in the files. Well, he shared his own address publicly. So I think we're clear on that. In terms of giving it to the pedo hunters, after seeing this, I think we decided that it was probably a good idea to alert the authorities to Alan's behaviour. Sentries is my music channel now, and on Sentries you can find the video of Armchair Detective Angry Alan. Children sing with Alan Vinnicombe on Smule. He waves at him, look, he waves at him. So, you know, after finding this, we suggested that it might be a good idea if people that look into it. There's no incitement to violence at all. And as far as giving out your address, Alan, you did that.
fraud, racial or religious aggravated offences, incitement to and terrorism. Well, mine were incitement to violence. Someone was giving out my address and saying they're going to contact groups that deal with peas and tell them my address, which they did. That, to me, is 6 years in prison.
Alan has no idea whom I did not contact.
If he did it on the streets of the riots, he'd be in prison now.
If on the streets of the riots I contacted pedo hunters and gave them Alan's address, then I'd be in prison.
If you said it about the rioters, he'd be in prison.
If I said that the rioters had sung with children on Smule and I had physical evidence of it, physical, you know, if I had evidence of it, you know, the evidence, the video, then I would be in prison.
Hoping this is going to change things. Top officials have made comments in recent days that the government are going to review this and make it much tougher on disinformation.
Right, you should be worried because you've been doing loads of disinformation and misinformation. All of your content is that. And instead of being worried about that, he's turning it on me, which is really weird. It's like dealing with someone who is of a very, very low intellect, like very, very, like, you know, not mentally quite capable, because he thinks, you know what I'll do? I'll twist this one on them and then they'll be scared like I'm scared. Because he's scared, he thinks I'll be scared. But I'm not scared. I think it's nonsense, Alan. I think you should just, like, stop doing this silliness because it makes you look stupid. But I do enjoy it, to be honest, so...
Hate speech, incitement to violence.
Alan, I'm not hate speech. I'm opposing hate speech. I'm not violence. I'm opposing violence. Okay? I've got a video of you, Mr. Vinnicombe, suggesting that you're going to murder me. In fact, I will do this now, actually, just quickly. Just quickly. Let me dig it out of my files. You'll love this. This is funny. Let's dig it out of my files. Bit of content in it. It's a bit of content. Alan Vinnicombe threats to super choffer. This is what I'm looking for. Get the link. Pop it in here. Let's paste and go.
George. Directed by the truthers.
Do you remember this one? Hey, over here, he's talking about coming up to murder me. Like, he's literally threatening violence, or at least, I think this is enough. I think it's enough.
What else can I do?
Threaten me more?
Talk about the weather, yeah. And have a chat to him. I'd love to have a chat to him. Last week, I've been fantastic. Feeling of, I can laugh. I have grandchildren. I wish I was younger. I'll be right up there to where he lives, but I can't. And have a chat to him. I'd love to have a chat to him. Not on here, but he needs help.
A chat?
Real help.
Physical help?
He's been confused by these truthers, lied to, and swallowed it. I even saw Maria Suarez in there. He made up my own daughter's whole life. He made up a whole life for my daughter in his head in 5 minutes. And said to her, help me take this effort down. To my own daughter.
You're my daughter. My
When we take
daughter.
him down, I'll be your daddy now.
I'll be your daddy
I'll
now.
be your daddy now.
All right, Alan. I didn't do it like that.
Wish I was younger. I
Oh,
wish I was younger.
do you? What would you do? Is that a veiled threat?
That skinny weed would be off the weed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
it's hard to laugh about it. But what else can I do?
Well, you can make more threats. Threaten me more? Yeah.
Talk
Because now when the laws change, you might be in more trouble.
Rather, yeah. I mean, like. the
This is a good
doctor told
one.
me once that everyone's capable of murder.
He said, he's a bit more quiet in this one, but he just said, the doctor told me once that everyone's capable of murder. I'll boost it for you. Everyone's capable of murder, he said.
And I sort of didn't believe him. I do now.
I do now, he says. So now he thinks he's capable of murder.
If someone was to attack my family enough, I'd do anything to protect them. Anything. If I saw somebody who was saying things about my daughter and I saw him in the road,
He means me.
could I stop myself from being physically violent? I wonder.
I also wonder, I think the court would also wonder if that was a threat of violence, Alan. Because I think it was. And I think it's very specifically directed. I mean, you can say you danced around it, you didn't say who it was, but everyone knows who you're talking about, so that's how it works. Like, I think you'll be fine in going to court and losing that you've threatened me with violence on the internet.
Good job living. I live in this city and not another city.
It's a good job you live where you
That's the way
live.
I'm feeling right now, that I really want to let some aggression out on someone.
All right. Let some aggression out on someone. And that's why I think he might be the Bristol Pusher, because I think he does let his aggression out on people when he feels he needs to. You know, just not people that are directly involved, or just random strangers, vulnerable people. Because he couldn't let it out on me, could he?
I had a word with my daughter today and she was crying.
Oh. Lies. Probably crying because
I
you made
drove
her
away
cry.
from there thinking,
Going on about her being sexually abused on the internet, which has never happened.
where should I drive? Should I drive up country? I guess the good thing is I'm too old. So I went to.
I guess the good thing is that I'm too old, he says. So I'm not sure that he's too old to drive up country and attack me physically. He said he would do. There you go, Alan. There's a good example of those sort of things that you think are going to be problems for me, but I've never done that. And you've done it. So it's going to be more problems for you. How's your blood pressure, you fucking nut?
More disinformation, slurring of someone's reputation, slandering
Slurring of
someone's
their reputation. Oh my days. After we got into it and we started, me and Alan, and this goes for them all now, really, doesn't it? You know, them all. But after we started it and got into it, me and Alan, hey, I've just dropped that. Where's that gone? Hey, I wanted that. I've just dropped that. Where's that gone? All right, forget it. I don't need it. After we got started, Alan literally told us about how his technique was to slander people's reputation. Like, you know, he had a step-by-step process, didn't he? And like, the slurring and slandering of my reputation now has got to the point where everyone knows that people are telling outrageous lies, like Alan and a couple of others, like chew fucking true, you know, chew fucking chew. All of those fuckers. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it literally doesn't matter, because like the more outrageous their lies, like the more weird they go, like the more stupid they look, don't they? Because we all know it's just stupid lies. And here's Alan just like basically like, you know, claiming that his reputation's been slurred and slandered because of. Actually, I'm going to close that quite because I keep opening them by mistake. He's saying it's slurred and slandered because of things he's actually done. That like, there's him on the fucking video. It's not my slander. Like, that's not me slandering him. That's him doing that with that kid on the internet. Yeah. So like, hello. Like, you can slur and slander me all you want. Like, you know, when being lied about, don't deal in lies. I'm good. You're not. The end. No one's gonna.
Speech and excitement. So I'd say I've had more than my fair share, wouldn't you?
You've had more than your fair share. You've done more than your fair share.
I believe. There's some of these aspects haven't come into effect yet,
No.
but they stand ready to make them. UK CPS, anyone can be a victim of one type or more of hate crimes. They're the.
Now we're going to talk about hate crimes, and Alan's going to try and defend himself with the cloak of hate crime, despite not being one of the protected groups that can be hate crimed. Instead, Alan has spent weeks, and like I said, he's deleted the videos, but there's still a couple up there. Like, he's still got his opinions about things. Alan's still got his opinions about things.
According to the
This is an advert on Rumble.
of global anti-cultism.
Fuck you, Rumble. Fuck off.
If you're currently paying for a subscription
Shut
to
up,
a
Rumble.
security
I'm not.
camera,
You can leave me
stop
alone,
now.
Rumble. Shut up.
This
Skip. Right, this is
I
Alan.
can remember the 1950s, just after the war, you know?
This is Alan.
When we used to have the Union Jack, and we had no technical stuff but make our own toys and smile. Here's my message to the children of today from a child of the 50s.
It's interesting he's got loads of pictures of kids from like a faith school, isn't it? It's come from a particular news article, but hello.
You don't know what's happened to our country.
He's talking specifically to these young mixed race and, culturally diverse children then, yeah?
Apart from the odd headmistress in London, of course. I don't know if history will teach you about the Second World War or hardly anything about the British Empire or Commonwealth, because we've got to be embarrassed about it now, haven't we? But I'm here to tell you, this was a great country once.
Once, before you got here.
My dad was in the Royal Navy, and I wasn't born until a long time after the war. He never spoke to me of the war. I asked him, Dad, what did you do in the war? He said, I was on top.
All right, brilliant, Alan, brilliant. You see, like, Alan's got ideas. This wasn't actually, I didn't do what I thought it would do. I thought he'd done the same video on TikTok as he's done on there, but maybe, oh no, this is a different video on TikTok. This says it a bit better, doesn't it, this one?
United Kingdom was the United Kingdom. All I saw was white faces. That's what I saw.
All he saw was white faces. Let's have that again. It's from the start of his most recent TikTok offerings.
Well, I was born in 1955, and United Kingdom was the United Kingdom. All I saw was white faces. That's what I saw growing up, and then gradually, Great Britain integrated with other countries. It was a slow process through my life, yeah. Because it was slow, it was integrated.
So he doesn't want any of you rushing over here too quickly. We looked at this at the end of last Nutter Watch, so we've already looked at this. But like, there's another example of Alan and his fucking mad racism.
Crime and Disorder Act 1998, Section 66. Prosecutions to apply for an uplift of the sentence for those convicted of hate crime.
Hate crime.
Which is what they've just done. I mean, like, for what they've said normally, a year ago, that would have been like a telling off, or at most, some sort of like, go and pick up rubbish for a week. But putting them in jail and no bail and convicting them in days to years imprisonment, my God, that's a change. There's no legal definition of hostility, so we use the everyday understanding.
I think hate crime laws have been in since, I don't think Keir Starmer came in and changed the hate crime law. I just think the decision to police it heavily during this time when there's civil unrest and people are doing such mad hate crime was quite a sensible one.
Says CPS. This is the official word from the people that prosecute people like my person that calls me a P, right?
Not prosecuting me.
The people that would prosecute him.
No one's prosecuting me.
And their understanding of the word hostility is ill will. He does that.
Ill will.
Spite.
He does that. Ill will. He does that. We're talking against protected groups, of course, in hate crime terms. If I was doing it against, like, the Muslims, Alan, like you have been.
He converts my face into a monster. Does that. Contempt.
Spite is different. Like, spite is nasty, vindictive, bitter. You've got a chip on your shoulder about something that happened in the past and you won't stop it now. And I told you where this started. I don't have this I don't know if you read it in me or not, but I don't have this spite. I find this quite funny. I'm laughing at him. I'm ridiculing him. Alan, as I said to the police, Mr. Vinnicombe is a laughing stock on the internet, and I will continue to laugh at him on my internet shows. As I said to the police, yeah. So the contempt bit I'll take on, right? But for Mr. Vinnicombe, not for an entire protected group. I haven't got contempt for old people or contempt for Asians or something. Like, I've got contempt for Mr. Vinnicombe.
The people that would prosecute him. And their understanding of the word hostility is ill will. he does that. Spite, he converts my face into a monster, does that. Contempt, he laughs at me. Prejudiced, I'm an old man at 70.
Right, obviously I'm not prejudiced there, am I, Alan? Because you being old is not the reason that I'm attacking you. I say attacking, you know, laughing, ridiculing, making shows on, having a pop, whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm not doing that because you're old. He looks like he's been crying again. Maybe the filters are so heavy to try and avoid or obviate from us spotting the truth, which is that he's been crying again.
Hate crime against pensioners.
Or maybe he's switched up to weed, you know.
Unfriendliness, well, unfriendliness is just, that's a mild word to it.
So he said, again, hate crime against a pensioner. It's, Alan, it doesn't matter. It's not like if you happen to be black, then you get this extra protection from the law, like you think it is. What it is that if someone's attacking you for the reason that you are black, or in your case, a pensioner, then you might fall under the protection of hate crime laws, but you don't in this case, because number one, there's no crime, and number two, that's not the reason. Like, you can't just warp things into, like, he just tries to take any little nonsense that, and it's DARVO, it's 100% DARVO, it's reverse victim and offender. It says here, DARVO, an acronym for deny, attack, reverse victim and offender, is a reaction that perpetrators of wrongdoing, such as sexual offenders, may display in response to being held accountable for their behaviour. So it's just DARVO, straight up and out DARVO, because we hold him accountable for his behaviour on this channel. That's why, because we hold him accountable. Because if you go to this channel, you'll see I held him accountable for inciting hate. There. I held him accountable for the sick things he said about Southport. And Luke, you know, hold him accountable for being a grifter. Hold him accountable. It's him that's getting held accountable and he wants to DARVO it.
Antagonism antagonises me every day of his life. He's been doing it for a year non-stop and no one has stopped him.
You have freedom to speak. Big ups, Vicky. I think you do have freedom to speak. You've also got freedom to accept the consequences for what you say. I'm not really like 100%. I always say I'm not an expert, but you know what I mean? Like, freedom of speech law and rules is quite deep and detailed. But like, remember, you don't live in a society where you're just completely free to speak all the time and say anything. Like, there's rules against it and laws. You can break those laws and end up in court, can't you? And it's not just the new stuff and the racism and that, but like, let's say, like, I mean, I know, look what's happening with Alan, like defamation. Like, you are free to speak, but then you do face the consequences if you say something that's a bit outside the box. So I don't know, like freedom of speech is important. I think if we're worried about freedom of speech, we shouldn't be like so tied up in this. We should be worried. We should have been more worried when they were arresting protesters, animal rights protesters in the 90s and 2000s, and then moving on to the Just Stop Oil recently. You know, they're the people that we should have been defending for freedoms.
Till now.
But no worries. Like, you know, you're friends. I'm not arguing with you. It's just like, I agree. Like, freedom of speech is a good thing, but I kind of think we still have it. You know, I just think like you need to be accountable for what you say. Like, these people that are getting in trouble have had their freedom to speak, and they've used it to say fucking horrible, racist, incendiary, rioting, like bad things. So like, I don't know. Like,
resentment. He's jealous of me. He's jealous of the fact that
oh my
I
God,
have 100,000 supporters.
Wait. This is a good one.
Face into a monster.
I turn his face into a monster sometimes. I warp it a little bit for a thumbnail, but yeah, go on.
Contempt. He laughs at me. Prejudiced. I'm an old man at 70. This is hate crime against pensioners. Unfriendliness. Well, unfriendliness is just, that's a mild word to it. Antagonism antagonises me every day of his life. He's been doing it for a year non-stop and no one has stopped him up till now. Resentment, he's jealous of me. He's jealous of the fact that I had 100,000 supporters, multi-million views on YouTube, multi-million views on TikTok.
Okay, so I'm jealous of Alan for having a multi-million views on YouTube, despite the fact I already have my own multi-million views on YouTube. I've got a million plus on the True Binaural ASMR channel, and over on Super Chuff we hit 1 million. So I've got my own million views. My views were better than Alan's on the content that we were doing on the my views were better, and my views on Battery Exhausted were better than his stuff. So I always had better views than him. It wasn't about that, and it never has been. And in terms of his million supporters, they were all bought, paid for, never turned up to the shows. He didn't have what he pretends he had. And how can I possibly be jealous of Alan? Isn't it strange? I mean, that's just a delusion, and I don't need to take it apart any further than that. Clearly, I'm not jealous of Alan Vinnicombe.
Antagonises me every day of his life. He's been doing it for a year non-stop, and no one has stopped him up till now. Resentment, he's jealous of me. He's jealous of the fact that I had 100,000 supporters, multi-million views on YouTube, multi-million views on TikTok. He can't stand it. He says I've bought the views.
Oh, yeah. Loads of them are doing that at the moment. It's the new big thing, isn't it? They're all buying the fucking views. I mean, go and look at Luke's John Wedger videos. Come on, let's all get real. People are doing live streams in the middle of the night to fucking 2 people and waking up to 300 views. It's obvious that there are people buying views. There's little groups of like 9 people in a chat and they turn out with like 300 views. It's obvious that they're buying the views, Alan. And you and TikTok, fuck me. Like, it's the most bizarre pattern of, like, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... I don't know about that one, but the last 7 there have got less than 1,000 views. This one got 25k. The ones about the football, he got more views, right? Alan got more views on his football TikToks, even with that fucking painting, than the BBC News or Sky News or fucking, like, when they did, sorry I keep swearing, but when they did the announcement for the England manager, when Gareth Southgate stepped down, Alan's video got more views than Gareth Southgate himself actually announcing it on TikTok. Alan got more views than Gareth Southgate. So either Alan is as popular as Match of the Day on TikTok, or he's buying views. It's the fact that he's buying the views. Because it doesn't carry through. There's no consistency. It's just like random up and downs. And it's when he feels like he needs it. Like, it's just bizarre. Like, we all know that that's what he's doing. Like, the behaviour, I don't need to get into it any deeper, do I? Like, it's just bizarre. Like, of course I say that's what you're doing, because it's obvious that's what you're doing. And to people that work hard at it and don't want that fake, like, oh, it's a hack, we'll look better so that people think we're better, and then they'll join in. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, Alan. You have to actually be good for people to want to watch. Like, you have to have the content. You have to have the sharp wit, the acerbic wit of the chuffer. But you know what I mean? You have to actually have something to say. You can't just turn up and be like, right, I've bought 1,000 views, so now everyone's going to watch. Now they're here, I'll just do the same old shit, and it'll just be like, you know, well, they'll turn up. It's never going to work, is it?
Bang!
Oh no.
Do's and don'ts.
Poor bugger. You can't face reality.
Yeah, you can't face reality. And he's saying that about me. He's saying, I say he buys views because I can't face reality. I don't need to face his reality or anyone else's. I just look at it from afar and comment and say, oh, look, it looks like they're doing that. Like, they don't live rent-free in my head. I'm not like waking up in the middle of the night checking their view counts. It's just like when you see them, you think, oh, look, that looks a bit weird. I swear last night that I only had like that. Like, it's just stupid, isn't it? Like, you know, I can look at things briefly once or twice a day, and that just, like, and move on as part of my sort of keeping an eye on stuff. Like, whereas with Alan, like, he's turned this completely around now. Like, it's like, you know, the delusion has got so strong that he thinks I'm delusional. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is either, like, his pattern of, like, manipulation on the audience, you know, to try and worry me, try and make me believe his beliefs, to worry me like a big bluff or a big blag. But also, I think it's part of his own delusional narcissism that he kind of lives in this delusional world, Delulu, and as things get more difficult for him, as he's going to explain later in the episode, things are getting very difficult for him, he feels more delusional because he has to live in, like, he has to convince himself some way that he's right. And this is the, like, it gets to a point where he's so far down the road that he has to come up with, like, increasingly more bizarre delusions. Now, I'm jealous of him, which he always has said, but you know what I mean? I'm jealous of him, and I'm delusional about his delusions about buying views that to everyone else are very obvious. Like, we're getting into the weeds now, aren't we?
Well, it's stopped him up to now. Pension on friendliness, well, on friendliness is just, that's a mild word to it. Antagonism antagonises me every day of his life. He's been doing it for a year.
How much does it cost to buy views? We've talked about it on channel before. I can't be asked to open up the things. In fact, on YouTube, I don't think it's a good idea that I do open up the websites and show you, because I think it's probably bad YouTube terms of service. But basically, it's obvious that it's very cheap on TikTok, much cheaper than it is on the rest of the YouTubes. But regardless of how much it costs, like, it's you know, it's cheap enough that these people are doing it. Let's say that, you know. But regardless of how much it costs, it's about, like, their ego and their, like, decision making to do it. It's just such a naive fallacy to think it's a positive move, but you know, they do it, so they do it.
Stop, and no one has stopped it.
Says more about them than it does about anything else.
Up to now. Resentment, he's jealous of me. He's jealous of the fact that I had 100,000 supporters, multi-million
Google it yourself. You know, just go and Google it. Just open up your Google and check. You know,
views on YouTube, multi-million views on TikTok. He can't stand it. He says, "I bought the views." Poor bugger. Can't face reality. So he disillusions himself from it. For me to buy 1 million views on YouTube is about £20,000, I think.
£20,000, he said. Okay, right. Wait. So I will get into it then, because I'm going to dispute it. I'm not going to say buy views on YouTube. I'm going to dispute it and say don't buy views on YouTube. I'm going to say that's a terrible thing to do. Buy 1 million views on YouTube. But we're talking about TikTok, you see, because I don't think he bought them in the millions on YouTube. In fact, I don't think he bought... I'm going to say TikTok. Views on TikTok. So I don't think he bought them on YouTube. Look, these are the websites. They just come up. There's loads of them, yeah? Right? So I'm just going to click, like, you know, the top one here, yeah? 1 million real TikTok views. You will get free delivery or whatever. It's looking like it's only about 20 quid there, $20. $13. Message Mohammed. I mean, that doesn't look like very much, does it? Because TikTok only pays $20 for 1 million views, look. TikTok only pays you $20 for 1 million views. TikTok, one view is very small, very quick. YouTube's different. It's very cheap to buy things on TikTok there, you see. I'm not suggesting people should. I'm saying they shouldn't. It's a waste of their time and it's bad. But he never bought millions on YouTube. But if you translate it over to, you know, it's relatively cheap to buy certain numbers. And like, it's obviously foolish over time, isn't it? Because you're going to spend the money that you potentially could make on just an empty number. It's just like buying yourself a gold hat. It doesn't make a difference to your content. It's just like a number. And we saw it with Alan. He had a big number eventually. And that's all he had, a big number. Like a fake number.
And dislike. Well, he dislikes me. So that's what...
But it's different for other people, right? I'll tell you for why. For Alan, the big number makes people think that he's successful. Some people believe this is that it draws people in like flies around shit. Like it's, if you're running a scam, you want there to be a busy room while you're doing your infomercial. So you buy a few views. Some people do it for their ego. But the other factor that's political is like, you know, what we saw with Luke. And you can, again, check the channel, go and watch the content there with Luke. Luke's nasty performance. A lot of view botting was going on there. You saw the things jumping up and down. Is the idea that for that it's about status and reputation. So Luke is now able to get onto someone else's channel, so John Wedger can, you know, make moves. It's about status and reputation. With Peter Folding's interview, if he'd got the real numbers out there, then he would have seen like 20,000 people watch it, and you'd have thought, well, that's quite good for Luke, but like it's not a lot of people in the big picture, and that's not good enough for Peter Folding. He needed to make sure that the mainstream media thought there was loads of people interested. So, you know, there's reasons why people might do this other than just the normal YouTube reasons, like, you know, outside of the normal YouTube. But back to Alan, really. For Alan, like many others, it's about status for himself so he can feel better, so he can show other people, no, I'm like you, I've got views. And it's about pretending there's people in the room so he can grift them into his patron.
But there's many of my trolls, isn't there? There's no end of trolls, including one in my ongoing court case that called me Vinnicombe. One particular man got people to phone me up in the middle of the night. I've got over 200 calls.
I didn't know that. Actually, I'd missed that when I was skimming through it earlier. I didn't know that. I'm not sure, maybe I've heard him rant about this before, but I can't, you know, because I wasn't on the scene back in the day. Like, he's got 200 calls. Off who?
Been cited by a man that I'm dealing with legally.
You're dealing with it legally? Again, I don't believe anything he says, of course, because that would have been ages ago, and it's not been dealt with legally, has it?
So it's all going to change. It's coming home to roost, right? But for those of you not in Britain, here's a video. So look at this lady here. This is not being horrible to her, but this is a typical like woman that trolls me.
Right, but she's one of these people that's gone to prison because of her posts on social media that were in relation to the riots, it says at the top. Like, she was posting negative things about Muslim people, and she's one of your people that support you, Alan, not one of your trolls. This is the kind of people that you talk to in your content about the Muslims. That's your supporters, Alan, you fucking idiot.
Just not trolling me, but she looks like some of the women that troll me, right? And she does it, and she's been doing it thinking that she's never going to be arrested. Well, think again, trolls. This is what happened to this lady.
It is. I mean, also have, given that this whole sort of process started not in fact with the riots in Southport, but the ones that actually started in Hare Hills before.
Yes.
And there was also the incident at Manchester Airport, wasn't there?
Right.
And this idea that this new government, this new Labour government is going to come in, it's going to have a completely different approach to crime, and that's how we're going to solve. We don't like punishment in this country.
So now we're watching the news. So obviously I'm going to skip past the news. We're going to move past the fucking news.
That's what the moment. But is it necessary to put Facebook posters in prison
Yes.
or YouTubers in prison? I don't want anybody put in prison for what they write on YouTube. I just want YouTube to make sure these creators are taken off YouTube.
Right, so why did you send the police to my house?
I don't want to put anybody in prison. I want
Yeah, I turned it off for a minute though, and Dolly's mum, it's all right.
creators who do this sort of smearing of people to be taken off of YouTube.
Right, you were taken off of YouTube, so you're all right there.
And I've tried to do that and got nowhere at all. And so's hundreds of other people tried to do that and got nowhere at all. But when Starmer says, go and get them, because he was a public prosecutor himself, right? So when he knows all about it. So when Starmer says, go and arrest them, they do. So one woman, Julie Sweeney, of Cheshire, she's a 53-year-old carer for her husband.
Of Cheshire, now we're reading the news.
And this week she sentenced 50 months in jail for writing an odious Facebook post while the riots were in full flow. Someone had to ask, and it might well be me, what's the benefit of imprisonment this lady?
It's a deterrent, Alan, from others. It's to show others that it's a bad thing that she's done, it's against the law, and that law's been set already, so she chose to break it. The judge is quite within their right to throw the book at them as a deterrent and also as a punishment for what she did, because the reaction to what people like her did was quite negative on the other people in society, wasn't it? So it's a punishment. That's crime and punishment. It's part of the true crime stuff that you do.
Make no mistake, what she wrote was wicked in response to a Facebook post featuring a photo of people helping repair a mosque in Southport after the damage was done. Sweeney said, it's absolutely ridiculous. Don't protect the mosque. Well, she just says two terrible things to him.
Slurring his words like he's drunk or the tramadol's kicking in. Alan, doesn't that remind you of some of your content that's anti-Islamic? Doesn't that, the reason that you took down those videos off your channel, but what about the ones that are still up there, like that are anti-Islamic? Okay, you didn't say burn down the mosque, did you? But you did say send them back to France, didn't you? Like, you did say some other stuff about civil war coming and seeds of war, and like you've left those up, which is a bit strange to me, to be honest. I find that a bit strange considering the mass deletion project that you did. But you're liable for these things, Alan. That's you. I don't want to put your blood pressure up, but
What she said there was really bad. But she was inspired, right, by the disinformation on YouTube that said...
She was inspired by people like you, Alan, that were banging on about it politically and putting up like live streams of the protests and saying things, she was inspired by that.
The young man that's slaughtered the three young girls, was a Muslim when he wasn't. But this was on social media that he was a boat immigrant Muslim, and he wasn't. But it was put on YouTube as something called Channel 3, right? Channel 3 reported this.
Not on YouTube, Alan, on Twitter. And as we saw in the news today, and he's behind the times here because he's literally, from the past, this is 2 days ago, but he might suggest it's Russia, but it turned out to come from Pakistan via the UK. So somebody in the UK just posted a fake thing. Someone in Pakistan put it on their channel, on Twitter, called it Channel 3 News, and it's gone from there, hasn't it? So, but you yourself were one of the people that were doing all the anti-Islamic rhetoric based off that information. He was lucky in a way because he didn't specifically name. He was like, I know who it is, but I can't name them because I've got to be careful these days. But he was still spouting the same rhetoric.
And thousands of people in their anger. I mean, I was angry that night. You
was angry that night. I know. You took it down now.
were angry that night those girls were killed. And if you saw it online, what I just said, it's not a shock that she's repeated, like she's quite angry. And
Sorry, I apologise for his quality of his video. You know,
she's obviously she's repented now.
I can't apologise for the fact that he's just going blah 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 because he's like, you know, that's him. But the quality of the video and the microphone, that's him as well. But I apologise on his behalf.
But in that moment of anger.
Also, I apologise for using the Southport incident again in this way as a lever, because I think it's disgraceful that they do this. You know, like, he says it without caring about these victims of this tragedy. He doesn't give two shits. He's just like wants to get his point across about this stuff, so he's like using it again. I think that's a bit disgraceful too.
You're let him put in prison for retweeting or re-saying what she read online. They give her the anger. But that's false. No one's taking Channel 3 in America to court for making up the thing that started off the whole riot.
Channel 3 is not in America.
That one video on YouTube is
today in the news. The Pakistani government have arrested and are prosecuting and taking to court the person who posted it on the internet. So in Pakistan that is happening. He's wrong, but he was behind the times.
She started on Facebook. It was on Facebook first. Thousands of people saw it and ran with it. Me personally, I saw it and I said, I'm not running with that. I don't know the source. Lucky for me, I've got the sense not to repeat what I saw without it being verified. I'm lucky.
Lucky for you, but you had to learn that, and you're going to court to, you know, to actually learn that still, aren't you? But yeah, no, lucky for you, Alan. Lucky for you. Things are good for you. Lucky Alan. Lucky for Alan. That's a good thing. I'm glad that Alan's happy with the way things are turning out here. Lucky for Alan. But not lucky for Alan. He still went on and did a load of other sort of anti-Islamic racist nonsense on the internet. So I'm just trying to fit a battery in this thing and it's not fitting very well. I was going to put the candle back on. I just felt it was a nice moment to do it. Why isn't my battery fitting very well? There you go. Jaff it in. Turn it on. Put the candle back out. Looks weird in green.
Because I'd be in jail now. If I had repeated, if I had said what she said, I'd have been reported 100%.
But you've said loads of other stuff and you took those videos down. Why do you take the videos down if you think they're great and they're fine?
Luckily for me, got more sense. Waited and found out it was he was, I guess he sort of, he's English, isn't he? Or something like that. Anyway, he's not a boat boy.
He's not a boat boy. He's English now. Well, careful, Alan. It seems like your natural speech is different from your rhetoric, which you have to force out and conflicts with your true worldview. Yeah, he's just English, isn't he? Oh, he's just British. Oh, he might be black. His parents might be Rwandan, but he's English, isn't he? Yeah, but, you know, careful, because that doesn't fit your narrative, does it?
She said, I'd have been reported 100%. Luckily for me, got more sense. Waited and found out it was he was, I guess he sort of is English, isn't he? Or something like that. Anyway, he's not a boat boy, or he's not a Muslim. So, she committed a criminal offence. Some would like to liberalise the laws around harmful communications to ensure that speech is merely offensive. Was she offensive?
Freedom of speech, but you have to actually enunciate your words, Alan, because I couldn't understand a word of it.
Was she put in jail for that? She just did one post and took it down in hours.
You took your videos down, didn't you?
One post. People
going to get your pants taken down.
That are calling me a P and whatever, I've done it for a year. And it's that's like more than...
Okay, every time you say it, Alan, I am going to bring this up.
It was 11 years old. My daddy told me, go get yourself a wife where you belong.
I don't want a wife, he says to that little boy.
11 years old.
I have a dream.
He has a dream.
One post. My family see it. My friends see it. But they don't take it down.
Alan, you put it up on the internet.
I have a dream.
I always have that dream.
Alan, you put it up on the internet.
And now they know it's damn illegal.
It's not illegal. Well, what you did was illegal, but it being on the internet, because you put it up and me reporting on it, is not illegal.
And they still don't take it down.
I'm not going to take it down, Alan. You're going to get your pants taken down and your bum smacked. Proverbially, I'm not doing like violence here. You know, it's a proverbial by the law, isn't it? That's what you're worried about. Alan looks weird on that video because I presume he's been up all night, and we've seen him before take his phone and place it down in front of him on the desk so he can have his hands free. So that's what's happened here, is he's taken the phone, set up the room, the kids are in the room, he's interacting with them, he's placed the phone down on the desk so he's got his hands free. You get the recording of the song, but you don't get the bit before and after. That bit wasn't recorded, but he's put the phone down there like that, so he looks weird because he's leering over the phone. And I presume, it's only my guess, but I presume because there's daylight showing above the green screen and he's sat in front of his computer, that he did this after an online session. So he probably went all night, kept himself up all night. The sun's coming up behind the green screen, he's at his last bit. You know, I presume it was that.
Well, let me tell you, times are going to change. The Wild West is leaving YouTube. The Wild West is going to leave YouTube, and you won't be able to make wild accusations of it.
Wah wah wiki wah wah. They're not wild accusations, Alan. Again, every time you bring it up.
Like my daddy performing, so I started writing songs.
That's you, Alan. It's not like some wild accusation.
That people read and think it's true because they've seen it on YouTube. Don't do it. Stop it. Take it down. But they don't. Because they hate me more than their liberty of walking the streets.
Alan, I'm not going to go to prison for showing the video that you made and put on the internet.
Well.
And calling you a nonce is not illegal.
Maybe you won't walk the streets. That's up to you. I mean, a long custodial sentence, no, I don't want them to go to jail.
But you sent the police to my house? And you're threatening me with a long custodial sentence now? I think if you threaten people with police and sentences and stuff, that's also a threat on the internet.
This lady, Mrs. Sweeney, had been a carer for her husband since 2015. He's bedridden. She's never been in trouble with the police before. She leads a quiet, sheltered life. She accepts her post was stupid, and she deleted it within an hour, she says. She pleaded guilty to the charge of sending threatening communications. Could her sentence have been suspended? Could she not have been sent home to her husband and a quiet, sheltered life?
Seems like a pretty one-sided article he's reading from, doesn't it?
Certain condition imposed by the court. I've seen a person that raped a 14-year-old.
Oh my God. How have you seen this? I don't like this now. This is bad now. And the way he's just like leaning in. Here we go. Classic Alan. Where does this come from?
Year-old girl let off prison because his wife doesn't speak English and she needs him.
You've seen that, have you?
One rule for one rule for another.
It's not that. It's that they're completely different cases. Completely different things. And one of them, you've shown us the evidence, it's been on the news. The other one, I just heard you say it. Like,
don't you think her husband needs him? He's bedridden. Another person, another religion, rape.
Here we go. Another person from another religion now. Just careful what you say again, isn't it? He's being careful now, but we still know what he's actually saying.
Child, and was let off because his wife doesn't speak English. And got a suspended sentence, yeah. Many were asking why certain forms of inciting hate speech are punished more severely than others, like I just told you. Haven't we?
When do we get to the funny blood pressure bit? Because I don't remember this all being this bad. I must have skipped through more of this before I prepare the show. We're nearly at the funny blood pressure bit, because we're going to skip the next news segment.
I won't even bother to go into the channel.
Calling someone a nonce is illegal, asked Joey Barton, yeah. But it depends on context. You know, it depends on, like, court. Like, first of all, Alan would have to take me to court for defamation. And then in the court, I would have to provide my defence. And my defence would be to play this and say that any reasonable person would call this noncy. You know, like, the definition of nonce is like a colloquial, proverbial, and even to the point of paedophile, like, you know, it's like a colloquial term that we use, isn't it, to relate to people who are, like, doing weird, creepy sex things with kids on the internet. And this might be the tip of the iceberg, but then I've got all the other stuff he said. I'll play the song again at the end. Like, I think that Alan's litany of, what's the word, confessions regarding his behaviour in this area would mean that I have a very solid defence for saying my opinion is that he is this. He said, for example, he said this.
There is no child porn on the internet. I hate to warn you that. There is no child porn on the internet. I checked.
So that's really bad. I think I just win. And I don't think he's going to do it because it costs like Joey Barton.
Again. I couldn't be happier. Swish!
Body Sculpture sent tippies.
And Joey Barton was a wrong one
The
anyway.
Armchair Ripper at his best. He knows he is next to get a visit from the police for the hate crimes he has committed. That's why he has deleted some of his videos. He knows he is getting gripped, it's just a matter of time. Maybe he can continue his paintings inside. Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love the message. It comes up on the screen when you do the tippy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I agree with you. See, the thing is, I don't want him to worry too much. I don't want it to feel like we're trying to make him stressed. Like I'm responding to his, he always goes on about right to reply. He's literally like, had a good old try and make me stressed on this. I don't care. But I think this is where it's coming from. Like I said, it's Darvo, isn't it? He's turning his feelings back on other people. He's deleted his videos about the hate crimes he's done. He's deleted them now. And he knows this woman got it done even though she deleted her tweet. So now he's trying to Darvo it back on us. And it's not that. And it makes him feel better, but it makes me laugh, if anything.
The rallies in London, I won't even bother going in there. I totally agree that you should incite, but they all got to go to jail. The jails are over full, aren't they?
Also, like Alan's litany of ills that he's committed, and this isn't like some clever editing trick. This isn't just like clipping something out of context or pretending that like it's worse than it is. This is just exactly what it is. And as I say, if this is your child and you walk in the room and this is happening, then what are you going to be like? How are you going to feel? And as I said as well, it wasn't just the one. Like this is the second. It's the same recording session. It's the same room, but there's 3 children in the same room. So this is the same video, but Smule has cut it from the perspective of the other child.
Such a big world.
I mean, they're my opinions, and I'll have to prove that in court, like we were talking about earlier. I don't even think it's getting there. Joey Barton called Jeremy Vine a nonce based on nothing, just like just being a nasty. And they got like it was one statement, but it was amongst a bigger thing, and that was like the thing that went to court. And they've both got hundreds of thousands of pounds and big solicitors to fight it, and they're both public figures in that way. So I think it's different from me discovering this on the internet and saying this guy looks like a nonce. Like all this stuff, would you call that a paedophile? I would. All that. I think it's just not even in the same ballpark.
Certain communities are getting it better than others.
And like the idea is that Joey Barton was like, going on about other people all the time and being a bit of a negative chuffer and a bad chuffer. Like, Joey Barton wasn't trying to sort of like do the right thing here. Whereas what I was doing, like when I saw this stuff about Alan singing with kids on Smule, I thought I've got to present this to the internet and I've got to be careful about how I do it. I've got to try and do the right thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I'm on the right side of being the right person here. Like, I'm not the bad person singing with the kids on Smule, am I? So I'm the one exposing it. So I think I'm all right with my actions here.
And that's why it's probably going to get not much better until the law sort of like...
It's not just a case of I don't like Alan, so I started calling him a name. That was silly. I was on him for months beforehand, critiquing his content, laughing at his other Smule videos, laughing at his content, critiquing him. But I wasn't just making anything up. At no point have I made anything up and just said anything randomly. Like, this has all just come from his behaviour, his content, my reflection and reaction to it. So, like, and it's not clever editing or like little clips or, pretending that it's worse than it. This is actually is what it is.
He calls everything up, right? I'm an interesting expert here. First of all, I'll show you. We never see the judges on telly.
Right, we did recently.
On the 4th of August.
This guy threw the book at another one of those. Like, it was a protester, and he said, you were there on the protest, you smashed the thing up, you took the sausages from Greg's. It wasn't the Greg's guy, but, you did whatever, and now you're going to prison for some time. So there's that. And then he watches them talk on the news for a bit, so we're going to skip that, obviously.
American law, I mean, it really is. I myself have got an ongoing case where I'm being sue for defamation.
And here we go. So we've got this far. I know that it's been a bit negative thus far, like I said, but we've got this far, and now we're into the fun bit. Now we're into the hilarity. Now we're going to get bizarre. Remember my blood pressure test from earlier? This is where it gets into a new realm.
Trouble is, the person suing me has done a lot more defamation to me, in my opinion. I'm called Vinnicombe. I've got hundreds of community posts of all sorts of accusations. Wanting to be locked up in irons till I die and all this. So it's not one. My case isn't one way. It's two-sided, and it could go on for years.
Obviously, we've already covered this. The defence of his case is not that somebody else is defaming me. That's not a defence for his defamation. So I don't know why he keeps going on about it.
And I will fight that case, and I will present my evidence, and I won't take any notice. Between you and I, and the big post, this is a private patron behind a paywall. I've had letters from that side offering me cash settlements to make it all go away.
What? You think Frankie Rusick has offered you money to make it all go away? Are you tripping?
Well, we all know that civil cases are about cash, right? That's the truth of it. It's not about justice or freedom.
Oh, you mean he's offered you a number so that you can pay him and then it will go away? He's obliged to do that by the court system, you fucking idiot. You have to show that you've offered, compromise, and otherwise they won't take it to court. You've got to try and negotiate along the way. So he's obliged to offer you an offer to say, we will not proceed if you pay this money. You can
or anything. It's about cash. And I'm not.
It's not about cash. It's about defamation.
Cash settlements. For example.
You're not taking cash settlements because it's not that you have to take them, it's that you have to offer them, and also you don't have any money.
Absolutely broke. But
yeah, you're absolutely broke. Let's hear that again.
No, the civil cases are about cash, right? That's the truth of it. It's not about justice or...
But also, he's not absolutely broke. He's squirreled his money away in different places and he's worried that they're going to get to it.
Freedom or anything. It's about cash. And I've not taken the cash settlements. For example, absolutely broke, but I've been taking the offers of cash settlements. So they've got to fight me. And what I didn't know, opinion, security of costs. So they're in a no-lose situation because my claimant lives in America. So if he loses, he hasn't got to pay. We haven't got a reciprocal agreement.
Boring.
So if my claimant doesn't win my case, he has to pay the cost. But he's in America, so there's no way the English judge their money off him, right? Thinking him up. So I've had to say, because of this torture,
big ups blank faces,
of 3 years it's been going on, I want them to put up the cash for the costs to make it a level play.
He will now get on to the bloody bit about his he's dragged me down now. The bit about his blood pressure is really funny. I don't know why he put it at the end. He should have done it at the start. Maybe I should have put it at the start. We're going to get there now.
So if they lose, they pay. I think that's fair, isn't it? That's the law in my country. And like the young gentleman said there, precedents are made in British law that are adhered to by the judges. So there's been slices and there's been cases where people at jurisdiction have to put up the money before there can even be a case. So we haven't even got a case yet. We're still arguing about, is there going to be a case?
No, you're not. All the money's been put up. October's going to be the date. When they reconvene the courts after the summer, you will get given a date for the hearing, the final judgment, and it will happen. And that's why you're so stressed.
Let alone, we spent all this money to get evidence. We're not even had a case. There's been no case. All it's about at the moment is them trying to discount my defence. That's what they're hoping for, to eliminate my defence. That's their wish. I mean, the claimant has produced this in his statement. If you want to read it, you tell you what they're doing. They're trying to destroy my defence before it starts and win on technicality. I'm saying I want security of cost before I do anything. So my view to the judge is you've got to do the security of cost before we even have a hearing. Put the security costs up, or if you don't, and if he does do the security cost, everything stops.
Oosh.
Until we sort it out. Because there can't be a judgment
What he's saying is he's tried to stall and stall and stall and stall, and now we're getting to the deadline, and it's going to go the way that it's going. Like, as far as Frankie Rusick's last update, they said we're going to go ahead with it, and when they like what I just said, in October the court's open again, and they're going to set a date for the final bit. Like,
while there's a security cost in place, there can only be a discussion.
You're right, Alan.
So that, I mean, it could take years.
It's not going to take
but
years.
Meantime, my health's suffering. I did say at the beginning of the programme, I'll let you know what's going on with.
Here we go, his health. So listen, he's in this delusional narcissistic wonderland where life doesn't actually hit him in the face. Do you know what I mean? Like not, you know, not. I don't mean physically. I'm not violence. I'm saying like he doesn't have to face the realities of his actions. He skirks around them and like skulks around, and he manages to get away with stuff, doesn't he? You know, he hasn't actually faced the harshest consequence for the things that he could have faced. Like, so when reality does come, and I want to say, smack him in the face, because it's an allegory. I'm not really meaning smack him in the face, obviously, not literally, but as this date looms, as it gets set, as the court process, no more stalling. It's like going to do an exam, or it's like, like, I don't know, like, my dad used to say about grabbing the nettle, like if there's something you don't want to do in life and it's difficult but you've got to do it, it's better just to grab the nettle, isn't it, and like just get it done. And I used to say, well, is there no way that I can't put gloves on? Is it like we weren't actually grabbing any nettles, like he wasn't teaching me physically, but like, it's like a conversation like thing. And this is one of those situations, but it's not like that. It's looming over him and it's going to happen, and like he knows it's going to happen, isn't it? It's like in the future and it's coming towards him, but it's reality. Reality is finally going to hit, and he is actually going to lose the court case, and he knows it, and it's like building. So that's the pressure. That's why we were playing Under Pressure earlier, and that's why we're talking about blood pressure, isn't it?
Pushing down on you. No one asked for.
That's why we're doing this. So here's the good bit.
My health life's not good.
Here's your pudding.
But I'm not dying.
He's not dying.
Which is the good news. I want to show you. I have to prove everything because no one believes me about anything.
Bear this in mind. He's not dying. He's just said that. He said he's all right. He said at the start it's not life-threatening. He's all right. He's not dying.
So I have high blood pressure.
He's got high blood pressure. The reason he's got high blood pressure is because for years and years he's been massively alcoholic. Like I still think he probably wouldn't consider himself an alcoholic, but alcoholism is his best friend. Does he go a week without a drink? I don't know. Obviously he drinks fucking loads, massively overweight. He eats microwave meals all the time. Like, he's unhealthy. Yeah, so there's those two things. Not much exercise, the poker, the late nights, the tramadol, the cocaine, probably. Probably all this stuff. Like, and then on top of that, the stress of all the stuff he's doing, the court cases, the rows on the internet. He used to come on his streams, didn't he? And we've got them all on the playlist. Coming on the streams like, okay, here's 20 minutes about the trolls. Like, the fucking stress of everything he's doing. Like, he's constantly having to juggle all these mental juggling balls, and he's not very capable. He's not a very good mental juggler, is he? Like, he's mental. But like, he's not very capable, is he? So like, the stress of all this over all this time, that's what's caused all this. Like, it's his own fault, essentially, isn't it? Like, he doesn't have to have any of these problems, but he's drunk all those drinks, ate all that food, lived that lifestyle, and here he is. So I don't feel any sympathy toward him.
Yeah. I don't know.
He won't be able to buy any more clothes from IKEA.
Wear clothes from IKEA.
Sorry, I've got the compressor on to make him louder, so when I press the buttons, they're really loud, but...
Are aware of my high blood pressure, where I went to the hospital about, was it 2 years ago?
So 2 years ago, this is before me, so he'd already got this problem before me, so it's not me. I can just point and laugh. It's not my fault.
Anybody here that remembers that?
And again, high blood pressure is a serious thing. If you've got high blood pressure problems in your life and like you feel like I'm being mean to you, I'm not. I was being mean to Alan, but like, anyone can suffer with this for serious different reasons. It might not be that you've just eaten yourself into this situation. And I feel like, sympathy for people. There are ways to work and deal with it, aren't there? So like, you want to kind of like look into that if that's something you suffer with. Here I'm trying to ridicule Alan for being a laughing stock on the internet, so please don't take it personally if you have high blood pressure.
Do you? Well, I had to go back to the hospital twice this week because
he's been to the hospital twice this week, he says. So he says he's had to go back. Does that mean he's had to go back for a routine appointment, or does it mean he's decided to check himself in A&E, you know, does that mean panic attacks in the middle of the night?
I have a blood pressure monitor, which I bought, right?
There's the blood pressure monitor. You've just, you know, I'll bring mine back into play. There's the blood pressure monitor. There's mine.
The day, I felt like my pulse in my head. And you might see I'm a bit red at the moment. I don't know why I'm really red.
Cocaine, maybe, drinking.
I don't know why.
Been out in the sun too much. It's the filter as well.
Anyway, so I thought, I haven't got that one out for months because I thought I was better. So I got it out and...
You haven't got it out for months because you thought you were better. See what I mean? Like, if you've got a high blood pressure situation and it's something you're monitoring, then you don't just put it away. Like, that's something you're going to be doing for the rest of your life now, Alan. Like, you're naive to put it away and just thought you were better. You idiot.
If you look at the chart, this is the chart anybody can find.
Right, it's very difficult to see here because he's put filters on to make it difficult to see things, remember? Like, all the background's supposed to be blurred, so he's going to wave his phone in front of your face. There's the chart. I can show you the chart on the computer. Just like Alan, I'm sat at a computer, so we can use the internet to show you the chart. There's the chart, but, you know, it's bad. He's in the red. Just like, what do you want? Like, unless you know what's going on with the chart, like, and where his blood pressure is, this is a bit foolish as well. It's bad he's in the red. Look at it. It's all blurred out.
I'll read it to you. We're looking at the red, right?
The red, yeah.
We're looking at the red zone, which is the problem for me.
Bad.
I'll read it to you. It's a bit blurry.
It's a bit blurry.
Low blood pressure is 90.
Low blood
Ideal
pressure.
blood pressure is 120.
Low blood pressure.
This is all for your health as well. You might.
This is for you now. This is for you. He's not a massive narcissist going on about himself. This is for you.
You might need to take your blood pressure.
You might need to do yours. So keep watching.
If you feel short of breath or dizziness.
Short of breath and dizziness, he said specifically. So there we go again. There's another, you know, Scotty Hottie armchair detective here. Like, he's the armchair detective. I'm no detective, but I'm putting it together that he's felt short of breath and dizziness. And that's maybe, like, he said he's been to the hospital, not doctor, hospital twice. So the first time might have been A&E, and the second time might have been follow-up. You know what I mean? Maybe. And I think he probably had some sort of mad panic attack. Like, his blood pressure might well be high, but I think he might have had some sort of mad panic attack. Middle of the night, earlier, like, hours, like the way he does. He's described them before. And I think he might have ended up taking himself to A&E in a mad panic attack, maybe, or calling an ambulance. So there's more taxpayer money spent on Alan Vinnicombe, the man who avoided paying any.
High blood pressure, 40. Pre-high is 140, and high blood pressure is from 140 to 190. That's what goes through your veins. That's the blood. The high number is the blood going through your veins, right? The low number along the bottom, which goes up to 100. If you get to 100, you're in trouble. That's to do with your pulse. Okay, so that's it.
Knows all about it,
guys.
That's it. I'm not pausing that. It's just doing it.
So what about AD then? What the problems have you
So
got?
what about
So I
you,
thought I better read mine. Right?
There we go.
That's
the proof there.
Normal 120/75, right? 120/75. If you got that, you're great.
So that's not your blood pressure.
So I started reading it, and I was dismayed by on once. This is from my machine there, right?
It doesn't look like the same machine as he just showed us. It looks slightly different, but I'm not going to critique that. I mean, was it? Should I skip back? Because he just showed us the machine a little bit, didn't he? Does it look like the same machine? I mean, this could be a photo of a photo of a photo or anything, couldn't it? But like, I do trust that he has got the high blood pressure, but like, I kind of just feel like his machine looked a bit different. Where am I at now? I'm at 39.54. Hang on. When did he bring the machine in? Hurry up, Scotty. Unless I can find it on the skim, where am I going to see it? Maybe I should have paused that earlier and made a big note of it. Didn't realise I was going to. Let's carry on. You just get it out in a minute as well.
A few days ago, I was 160/115. 160.5 is in the danger zone.
Danger zone.
So I thought it was okay. I'll take more tablets and I'll take it again tomorrow.
Take more tablets, you'll be fine.
And then it went up to 176.
It's gone up.
Now I'm worried.
Now he's stressed.
So I'll go to the hospital.
So that's going to make it go up more, isn't it? He's anxious. He's having an anxiety attack. Like, so he goes to the hospital. So where's he going? To the hospital? He's going A&E, isn't he? He's going A&E. He's admitting it. The one night he had high blood pressure and a panic attack. He took some tablets, went to bed. Probably not the best idea, but yeah. Took some tablets, went to bed. Next morning, it's gone higher. So he's off to A&E. Alan's having panic attacks.
And the day I go, I read it, and it's 180.
180 up 116, pulse of 90.
Now I'm thinking, and if you look up that on Google, you'll see you're very near to a heart attack or a stroke.
A stroke. Hope he's not blaming it on me. They'll call me Stroke Jessup, won't they? Hoi!
That's an indicator that you're in a danger zone. I know it sounds bad, but I've been there before.
Which isn't a very good thing, because it doesn't even sound like my name. But
I went to hospital. So I went to hospital. And,
when you're dumb but not funny. Yeah.
Well,
here we go. Look at this as well. The filter on this, when he puts his head down, the filter has trouble verifying whether it's his face or not sometimes. So it kind of goes in and out, and you kind of see him like really turn wrinkly, like the picture of Dorian Gray all of a sudden. Like it's really weird.
I know it sounds bad.
I'll try and pause it at the right
moment. I've been there before when I went to hospital. So I went to hospital.
Put it on slow speed and try and pause it at the right moment.
And
there, right there, bang. Like he suddenly turns more crisp, more focused, and very, very different. And it's no, I'm not doing having a pop at wrinkles. Like they exist, but it's the fact that he puts that weird filter on and then it exposes him when it turns itself off automatically like this. So like just take for example the bit by his glasses. Like, he looks a lot more ravaged by age here, and then I'll press play and it will just disappear. Watch. See that? It just smoothed itself over. It's just gone. That's the filter in action, doing its job. Makes him look worse than like, because you can see it happening. And like his lips look really pink and stuff, like because it's designed for ladies and their makeup and stuff. Like it makes him look worse.
Well, after talking to the nurse there and whatever, on their machine, and they gave me more tablets and come back tomorrow. And I went back on Saturday. I think you see the date there. Was it Saturday?
The nurse and come back tomorrow. So is this the hospital or is this the doctors? I'm like really confused. Has he got regular appointments? Can he call in and check in? Like, I'm having trouble. Can I call in and check in, or is it A&E? Like, but he's back the next day with a 160 over 100. No, 160 over 88. I don't. There's too many numbers.
The other day. Anyway.
No, it's 160 over 101, isn't
160. It? 160. Ooh, 160. Okay,
Ooh,
so
come down now.
And that's the machine. Wherever you got to go to the. I suppose that hospital, right?
They put him in that. They got one of them at Boots. They've got one of them at the doctors, actually. So this feels more like the doctors than the hospital now. So I said he's gone to A&E because of the way he described it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's gone to the doctors, because they've got those at the doctors. I've seen them at the doctors. A&E, a bit different. They bring you out the big machine. This is the doctors now, isn't it? This is Boots and the doctors. So now I don't know. You don't know what kind of lie he's telling you. Like, has he been to the hospital, the A&E, or the doctors? Because they got those at the doctors. He's going to put his arm in that, 20p at Boots.
So that's, put your arm in there, okay?
Yeah.
So that's a much better one than the one I use. And we've got it listed. And then, the last few days...
You didn't tell us the results of that? Or was that the one that we just saw on the little ticket? Was that?
Been under stress with this court case.
Under stress with the court case, he states it specifically.
I won't tell you why I'm under stress.
He won't tell you why, but he is under stress. I'll tell you why. It's because he has been given this like factual stuff. Like if Frankie Rusick says that they're going a step further and it's happening, then I assume that Alan is informed by the court that they're going. You know, I think he's had a sort of step forward, it's really happening feeling, and so that's why he's been under stress.
We've got it listed. And then the last few days, I've been under stress with this court case. I won't tell you why I'm under stress with court. I'm under stress. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. It's stressing me out. I'm like told my spanners I can't go on with this court case.
Little cheeky. Is he using this as an excuse to not make content? Is that what's happening? He doesn't want to go on his live streams anymore, but he can't admit defeat. So he's going to pretend he's going to have to, I got injured and I had to sit out. I got injured. You know, is he using this as an excuse? I've been telling the spanners I can't go on doing this. But he wants them to keep giving him money and keep doing the thing. Like, there's only 6 of them now, so he's well in deep. And, like, they're already, you know, like, they would give him money even if he wasn't on the internet, some of them, I think. They're in that deep now. I think he can just call them up on fucking Skype and, you know, beg them. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Alan, does it? Here, like explaining to the spanners that he's not going to be able to do much more live streaming is probably not a good move.
So I didn't sleep last night. I woke up the day and did it.
How did you wake up? How did you wake up if you didn't sleep? It's 200. It's 200 and his heart rate's 96. So what's he been doing? Jerking off? Like, why is your heart rate nearly 100 for lying in bed after you just woke up? That seems bizarre. I think what's more likely is he didn't sleep, maybe because he was doing drugs, I don't know, and then he's had some sort of panic attack and he's put it on at the moment of the panic attack, because this seems a bit weird to me. Let me just rewind that. He said he didn't sleep, but then he woke up.
I told my spanners I can't go on with this court case. So I didn't sleep last night. And I woke up the day and did it. And this is what it was this morning. 200 over 111. And that's after all my medication, my trying to keep calm, my everything. That is ridiculously high. For that, you're supposed to phone an ambulance and go in hospital.
For that, you're supposed to phone an ambulance and go in hospital. I hope he did. I don't think he did. But, I hope he did. Anyway, look, you know, I hope he, did, you know, in terms of, I don't want him to waste taxpayer money, but, I hope he did the right thing by his health and didn't, put himself at jeopardy. I don't know. But, ultimately, let's be real. Who's waking up to that? Who's waking up to that? After all the tablets, after all this and that, after all the relaxation that I did, what does he mean? He's just woken up. What are tablets and relaxation? You mean the days before leading into this? You've woken up, you're having a panic attack in the middle of the night, you Nord.
That's what that is. Look it up now.
You Nord.
It'll tell you, phone emergency services.
You know.
But because I've been in this position before,
yeah,
I know what to do.
You know what to do.
Quiet.
He sat quiet. In his room, in bed, having just woken up, having not been to sleep, sat quiet. Look at that face. Meditated. Can you believe this? Can you believe it? Does Alan meditate?
And I've just done it an hour before the show, and I got it back to 180.
So he says he did it an hour before the show and he got it back to 180. There's the keyboard in front of him. There's his computer. You can see it. Yeah. So he's got it back down. So you're saying today, you mean, Alan? So you did your show in the evening. So you said you didn't sleep, but then you woke up. So you're saying you slept all day, woke up in the evening, took your blood pressure an hour before the show. Is that what you're saying? What kind of a life is he living? 180 over 112 with a pulse of 106. So leading into the show, his pulse rate has gone up.
180 just before the show. So that's like the position I'm in.
You nearly sat there nearly dead. Nearly going to have a heart attack or a stroke as the show gets going, and you're just like, yeah, fine, that's fine, 180 over the thing, take more tablets. He's absolutely falling apart, isn't he, this nutter? I don't believe half of it. You know, the way he's told this, I think he's told it his way, so I don't believe it all exactly. You know, he could have had photos on his phone and showed you them at different times. You know, it could have been different moments, different times, but this is the way he's telling you, you know. Big ups Grumpy Grannies. Big ups Grumpy Grannies.
I want the court case to end.
You want the court case to end? Pay the fucking settlement months ago, you fucking idiot. It's up to you.
Before the show, and I got it back to 180.
180, which is still bad.
180, just before the show.
Just before the show. This gets better.
So that's like the position I'm in. I want the court case to end. Really, really do. And I thought what I want to know if doing a live anxiety, a lot of anxiety.
See, now he's brought up anxiety. It was all blood pressure before, but now he's brought up anxiety. Alan's having panic attacks. I've said it for ages. I've called it out for ages, and I don't think he knows how to fix it or could. I don't think he could fix it because I think it involves a cognitive process that he's not willing to take part in. So, like, I think he's suffering from anxiety, and so he should, because he's got the looming truth of reality about to come round and bite him. You know, he gets to avoid certain things. He gets to hide away and pretend with certain things. He gets to hide away and pretend, but not with this one. Like, this one's not one of those you can hide away and pretend with the court case. That's really, 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 really going to happen. So, like, anxiety attacks, Alan. I'll tell you what doesn't help. Alcohol doesn't help anxiety attacks, and the narcotics, and also a massive guilt complex from all the bad things you've done. But I don't think Alan feels proper guilt because he's a narcissist. But I don't think those things help either. So, like, you've made your bed.
So, what I'm doing now, I've just done a show, and I want to know if this show's done me bad or good. Because if my blood gone up again, I shouldn't be doing lives, right?
Really?
So I'm going to do it now with you, live, so we can see what. That's the machine. So I put that on there.
We didn't get to see the machine again, though, did we? Unfortunately, but I have to just take it a trust that these are all readings from the same machine, and this is his machine, right? But he's doing this show. Remember, this is his Patreon to 6 people, Riff Raff and Kaka. So, like, if you can't hack this, imagine what's going on when he does an actual show to the same 6 people, because no one ever watches any of his stuff. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, bizarre, isn't it? Like, and also, don't you think his blood pressure will have gone up during the show because he's on there talking about all this stuff that makes him anxious? Don't you think that's going to make it go up? And don't you think, like, the whole thing of him doing it, like, my blood pressure and my pulse rate then when I took, because I did mine at the start of the show, and we're going to do it again. You know, I've got it right here, just like Alan. Wait. Where is it? I've got it here just like Alan. I've got mine just... There's mine. Yeah. So, the... don't you think it would have gone up? Like, anyway, don't you think that's going to happen? Because he's been on the internet talking about all this stuff. Like, I think he's fucking stupid.
And this goes on my arm. Up here somewhere.
Get it on there. Get it on your big old arm.
You can see my arm, can't you?
I can see your arm, yeah.
So all you do, this is...
Even though you've put on a filter to sort of blur everything out.
Say all of you should do this at some time. So it catches it.
Let's put it on quite tight. I don't think you're supposed to put it on that tight.
There. Then you press start. Hopefully better than it was this afternoon. So when you do it, it does slightly hurt because it pumps. It really squeezes the... Ow, there. When you get used to it, like me, I've got to just keep calm.
He keeps calm.
So, fingers crossed.
What are you saying?
Around 180, which is still massive high.
Ah.
But I'm hoping it
So
will.
I try to put mine on with my arm and click to all the mouse then. What he's saying, I've got to get this on properly. I've got it on wrong. What he was saying there is that the first time you put it on and it squeezed, he obviously had a panic attack about the squeezing and it hurt, and he was... Could you imagine Alan at the hospital screaming and crying because it hurts when he does the blood pressure monitor? Do you know what I mean? Could you imagine that? Right, we've been doing the show. Here's this. We've been doing the show. Yeah, got mine on my arm. We've been doing the show. Let's see how things have changed. Does squeeze me quite hard, actually. That is squeezing me quite hard. I wonder if I could put it around my... I wonder what the blood pressure in my... It's cutting off My hand's going purple. You're not supposed to talk while you do it. Ah, there you go. Mine's gone up. Look at that. I mean, I've been sat here smoking, talking to you chuffers. Mine's gone up. 127 over 90. Uh-oh, am I in the red zone now? 127 over 90. Hey, wait, did you... Oh, no, that's the camera. Wait. There you go, 127 over 90. Let's check. Mine's gone up. Because it would do, because I've been on the fucking internet, yabbing away and smoking. I was 110 over 86 when we started, so I've gone up to 127 over 90. So I'm still just in... I'm just pre-high blood pressure there. I'm just there. And the 90... I'm in the yellow zone now. But I think that's because I've been on the internet talking, yabbing, smoking. I think that's pushed my blood pressure up, and also the talking while I was doing it, and just the whole thing of it. I think that's it. But yeah, it has gone up. Look, mine's gone up as well. Because it will do, because you're on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Like, just, or do you think I'm wrong in saying that? Do you think my blood pressure should not have gone up a little bit, having sat here? Like, there is some sense of not intense anxiety, but, you know, I'm on the internet. People are watching, I'm doing a show, I'm talking to you, you know. Don't you think it would slightly? My heart rate was 80. Like, that hasn't really gone up. Like, my pulse. I think the smoking probably didn't help me. But yeah, I think it would do. I don't think it's a problem. I'm not anxious about it. Whereas Alan now, he's going to do his. So here we go.
Give us a reading that's not ridiculous. Or you can watch it yourselves. There
it is. That is the same monitor, isn't it? That is his same monitor. You can watch it yourselves. And this is where I got my screenshots from the. This is where I got my screenshots of the thumbnail, because this is fucking hilarious. So I'm going to rewind this bit and let it play a bit without pausing, because actually this is hilarious.
Fingers crossed, it's going to be less, or around 180, which is still massive high. But I'm hoping it will give us a reading that's not ridiculous. Or you can watch it yourselves. It's taking notes now. The machine's taking notes as it comes down through.
Make sure you take notes.
So it's measuring me. I'm sorry about the screen, but we'll get the picture. So it's doing it now, and it's not good. It's not good. 187, 118.
You can't see the pulse there, but his pulse is 107.
So I don't think I'll be doing a live.
I don't think I'll be doing it. Sorry, I'm talking over it again.
It's doing it now, and it's not good. It's not good. 187, 118. So I don't think I'll be doing a live, bro. That is ridiculous high. It's gone up again because I've done a live. 187. It's just anxiety, really. It's anxiety. I'm not going to hospital. Because I've been in this position before. It was 200. An appointment with the doctor Wednesday.
Dr. Wednesday, so that's tomorrow, isn't it? Well, that's today. He's been doctored today.
So it's Tuesday tomorrow, isn't it? So the next 2 days, I'm going to totally relax. I won't be online.
He's not coming online. Do you know what I mean? I think he's going to, like, bow out and say it's his health. But, like, you know, it's not. He's got no one watching him. It's gone to shit. You know what I mean? He's just put up racist stuff. He's had to take it down. Like, it's really gone to shit for Alan. And he's going to turn around and say, well, you know, I'd have been #1 if it wasn't for my blood pressure. Like, you're a load of shit, Alan. It's like an excuse. I'm not going online. So now the spanners ain't even getting theirs. We're going to have to wait to the court case, like, you know, till October now, aren't we? Alan's just going to take the rest of the time off. Just going to relax, really. But he can't relax, we know. Like, you know, in the dead of night, while people are asleep and some of us are awake playing video games, Alan's having panic attacks and doing his blood pressure and taking extra tablets.
And I see what the doctor can. You might be able to give me stronger tablets. I've got tablets as it stands. I don't know if you know what. I've got these ones. I don't know what.
Oh, there we go. More tablets. I don't know what these ones are, Alan, because obviously I can't read that.
Sure.
Oh, there we go. What are they?
I've got this.
No.
What's it called?
I can't see. Oh, there. Amlodipine. amlodipine. Calcium channel blocker to treat high blood pressure, hypertension. It can prevent heart disease, heart attacks and strokes, prevent chest pain, angina. So it's a straight up heart medication for hypertension, yeah? So the stress is what's causing it, the anxiety, but the end result is the hypertension. So he's been given the medication for that. I'm assuming, because he doesn't show us his prescription, he just shows us a box. And like, he wasn't supposed to be taking fucking loads of tramadol either, was he? But he was. So, but that's what that is. Side effects of amlodipine are swelling, fatigue, palpitations and flushing. So that's not going to help him, is it? Swelling, fatigue, palpitations and flushing. They're going to worry him, those side effects, aren't they? He was saying he was feeling more red. He was looking more red. That might have been from that. Right. But that's Alan's journey into the court case, isn't it? It's not a tramadol, that isn't. That's not a tramadol. I wonder how well it mixes with tramadol.
Amlodipine.
Fair play. I mean, again, like, you know, shouts out anyone who's suffering with high blood pressure and has to take medication like this. That's not very nice, is it? We're very lucky that we live in a world where the NHS can help us out with stuff like that. Obviously, on the way there, like healthy eating, exercise and stuff like that, you know, I'm going to shout that out. I myself smoke. I'm a bit of a hypocrite, aren't I? But the main thing is that Alan is a dickhead and he's done this all to himself. So I have no sympathy for him whatsoever, especially as he chose not to hand in the accounts for the books for the business and he got struck off and wasn't allowed to run a business again, you know, the tax stuff, because now he's heavily reliant on the NHS and didn't pay much into it while he had his good days, yeah?
Quite mild, it seems. So I take 2 of those a day. They might give me something stronger, but as it stands...
But what about your anxiety? Are they not giving you anything for anxiety?
Court case, due to the next court case, I've got to take steps now to try to keep myself stable, really.
Stable? Due to the court case. So he's not blaming this on me. I'm not accepting, you know, the burden of responsibility. It's okay for point and laugh. But due to the court case... But I just want to remind, like, I'm going to rewind this bit again, because this is like pure Alan buffoonery on the internet, yeah? Waving the phone around... taking his blood pressure live, blaming the fact that he's not going to be doing as much content on the fact that he can't handle himself and his life, and now he's going through some sort of panic attack situation. And surely, I'm rewinding this because I tell you what, this is surely a joy for the Rusick family and, you know, anyone that dislikes Alan and think he's been an arsehole, to watch him roll around in his own problems, because like he's caused all this himself. This is the result of his own malice and vindictiveness and bitterness, and this is where it gets you.
Put your arm in there, okay? So that's a much better one than the one I use. And we've got it next to you. And then, the last few days, I've been under stress with this court case. I won't tell you why I'm under stress. I'm under stress. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. It's stressing me out. And I told my spanners I can't go on with this court case. So I didn't sleep last night. And I woke up the day and did it. And this is what it was this morning. 200 over 111.
You would have been going balmy. You didn't sleep.
That's after all my medication, my trying to keep calm, my everything. That is ridiculously high. For that, you're supposed to phone in and go in hospital. That's what that is. Look it up now.
You look it up.
Tell you, phone emergency services. But because I've been in this position before,
already gone to the
I know what to do. So I sat quiet, meditated, and I've just done it an hour before the show, and I got it back to 180.
Ups and downs.
180 just before the show. So that's like the position I'm in. I want the court case to end. Really, really do. And I thought what I want to know if doing a live anxiety, a lot of anxiety, anxious to hell. So what I'm doing now, I've just done a show and I want to know if this show's done me bad or good. Because if my blood's gone up again, I shouldn't be doing lives, right? So I'm going to do it now with you, live, so we can see what. That's the machine. So I put that on there, and this goes on my arm. up here somewhere.
Live blood pressure readings with Alan.
You can see my arm, can't you? So all you do, this is...
He didn't do it at the start of the episode.
I would say all of you should do this.
I did it at the start. He didn't do it at the start.
So it catches it there. Then you press start. Hopefully better than it was this afternoon. So when you do it, it does slightly hurt because it pumps. It really squeezes the... when you get used to it, like me, I've got to just keep calm. Keep calm. Fingers crossed, it's going to be less, around 180, which is still massive high. But I'm hoping it will give us a reading that's not ridiculous. Well, you can watch it yourselves. It's taking notes now. The machine's taking notes as it comes down through.
The pressures, yeah. That's his camera doing
it's
that.
Measuring me. I'm sorry about the screen, but we'll get the picture. So it's doing it now, and it's not good. It's not good. 187, 118. So I don't think I'll be doing a live program. That is ridiculous high. It's gone up again. Because I've done a live.
Because I've done a live.
187. It's just anxiety, really. It's anxiety. I'm not going to hospital. I'm not going to hospital.
No.
I've been in this position before. It was 200. I've an appointment with the doctor Wednesday. So it's Tuesday tomorrow, isn't it? So the next 2 days I'm going to totally relax. I won't be online. I won't be doing that. And I see what the doctor can. You might be able to give me stronger tablets. I've got tablets as it stands. I don't know if you know what I've got. These ones. I don't know what. Anybody got blood pressure?
He's such an idiot, isn't he? He's such a cretinous clown. He's such an idiot. I wonder what the doctor said to him today. I wonder if he's going to be doing anything about that. Like, you know, health update. Alan's health update. As the court case looms nearer, as October, you know, wake me up when September ends. As the October looms nearer, he will just become increasingly more panicked, won't he? Like, I expect the day before, you know, like he's one of these people that like doesn't want to face things, so he can't. Like I said, like in his fantasy world, it doesn't really exist, does it? So he can't prepare for it. So things just sort of happen, and like he ran out that. Do you remember when he said about the hospital for his knee operation? He went, he did the pre-op, and then he got up and left. And just got in his car. He crashed his car in the car park on the way out and left. Do you remember that one about the knee operation? Like he had a panic attack in the hospital, ran out and crashed his car, like Alan Partridge. So it's the build-up and the impending doom, and then like the day before is the worst because it will be all of a sudden upon him, and he won't be able to pretend it's not, because he's pretended it's not a long way, but it's starting to, you know, it's seeping into the sort of fantasy illusion world of Alan Vinnicombe. Like the cracks are allowing reality in a little, aren't they? And like then he pieces those pieces of reality into his delusion in some mad way as well. It's very, very strange.
I've got this. What's it called? Amlodipine. They're quite mild, it seems. So I take 2 of those a day. They might give me something stronger. But as it stands, due to the court case, I've got to take steps now to try to keep myself stable. Really.
Do you remember when he was doing the ASMR streams? Maybe you can go back to those. Like, why doesn't he just stream relaxing, chill stuff? Like, why can't he just be chilled? Like, why is he such an arsehole? Like, when all these riots were kicking off, why did he jump with glee to project those thoughts onto the internet? You know, why was that his bag? It's weird, isn't it? Like, you know, it's weird. Like, he's got the opportunity. He did it before. I mean, maybe this is just something that's in him, but like, come on, Buttons, I'm pressing you.
Torchy, Torchy that. I remember Torchy when I was a little tiny boy. I used to love Torchy the battery boy.
So like maybe he needs Tramadol to feel like that so he can do those shows, but like that was his best. I still maintain it, the Torchy the battery boy episode. We had a lot of fun like reacting to it and laughing at it, but he had a lot of fun doing it. Like, what's wrong with just doing some content where people enjoy it, Alan? Like, why does it have to be fucking horrible nonsense all the time? I don't know. Like, yeah.
So obviously doing a live didn't help. because bet went up to about nearly 190 again.
So I think this puts pay to any idea that we could have him on for an interview. I looked into it. I'm not sure about this, but there is a possibility he could come onto YouTube as a guest, even though he's banned. I think that's a possibility. I think looking into terms of service, it's possible that he could be banned, but I can still have him on as like a feature guest rather than like, he's got his own account. So there is a possibility of us actually, doing those things together. But Alan isn't capable, it seems. Maybe even physically now. As I said, I predict, and this is my prediction, is probably the day before the court case, he's going to pull some big health scare and he's not going to turn up. He won't have to turn up anywhere. It'll probably just be on the internet anyway. He'll probably just receive a sort of summary judgment via Zoom. But this is going to build for him in his mind whether we get to go on the journey. I think he's going to try and bow out of online content. I think he's going to try and bow out of live updates, of live shows, and just claim, it's my knee, in this case, the fact he's going to give himself a heart attack or a stroke. But it's anxiety, isn't it? It's pure anxiety, and he deserves to suffer it. So there you go. In this show that he's done, he's called it, They All Underestimated AD, It's Coming Home to Roost. And what he meant was to have a pop at me and say things are coming home to roost for Scotty Hottie and the others who are going to end up going to prison for what they said. That's not what's happened here, Alan. The irony of this is, of course, the phrase, it's coming home to roost, your chickens are coming home to roost, is for you, that you're suffering the effects of the things that, you've made your bed and you're going to have to lie in it. Right.
You know what Google's like? If you Google, let's just Google blood pressure.
Let's just Google blood pressure. Finishing strong in the old show.
Those trolls that call me a killer and that. It's a word for you. There's a word for you.
That was for me then. What's the word? He just had a little pop out of nowhere.
Those trolls that call me a killer and that. It's a word for you. There's a word for you.
What's the word? There's a word for you, Alan, look. There's definitely a word for you, look. There's a word for you, Alan, look. There's a word for you, look. There's definitely a word for you. I don't want a wife. I don't want a wife. There's definitely a word for you, Alan.
What do the numbers mean?
What do the numbers mean? That's how you go to hospital. You were going to refuse. We've been round in circles now. Look at that filter kicking in.
Right, so...
And turning off. Again, I'm going to try and grab it. When the filter goes, I'm going to try and grab it and show you in...
What do the numbers mean?
Oh, it's happening so quick. It's happening so quick. Let's make the Firefox big. Let's make the Firefox big. Let's just rewind this a little bit. Watch these filters go.
It's a word for you. There's a word for you.
Look at these filters as they kick in and break down. Oh, what?
What do the numbers mean?
He goes crispy and he goes smooth and he goes crispy and smooth. And when he goes crispy, that's his internet not hacking it. But when he goes crispy, you see all the lines on his face and all the beard and all of that. And then when it goes smooth, it all disappears. Look, like smooth as a baby's bum. He's all ugly and horrible.
Right. So.
And then he's all smooth again.
Well, I can't even find that.
Now he's getting eggy about Google.
I can't even find a reading for that guy.
Things going well, Alan.
Understanding blood pressure in. I don't want to read this because it's like, that this. It's not right, is it? Online, it's always like to frighten you, don't they?
What, like you and all your content?
But hypertensive crisis. Consult your doctor immediately. Higher than 180. That's where I am. That's where I am.
But you've already consulted your doctor. Like you've got an appointment in the incoming days. Like.
I can't know if you can read it. No. You have to Google it yourself.
Google it yourself.
Why does that not work? There you are.
Why doesn't it work? It doesn't work 'cause you put on mad filters.
To death, doesn't it? That frightens you to death. But I have been to the hospital about it, and they said, don't worry about it. Don't know why. Anyway, I better go. Liz takes 20 milligrams. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping is going to give me something stronger. Liz, thanks for that.
Wow, his approach to this is, I'm going to take stronger medication. Like, he obviously thinks he's done the lifestyle changes that are necessary, so it can't be that. He's going to have to stop doing streams and just take stronger medication. Okay, I hope they give you some tramadol as well.
Well, Liz, what did you get to? What's your highest reading, Liz?
What's your highest reading, Liz? On the old blood pressure. Competitive spirit kicking in now. But he wants. Well, I think what he wants to see is that she's got a high number, but she's okay, so it's okay because Liz is still alive.
Right, because I have been in this. Remember when I went off to hospital one night, or everybody got, my God, it was. Yeah. Remember I went to hospital?
What happened then? It all broke up, but he went to hospital one night for something.
That was about 2 years ago. Since then, I've been on these pills, but I haven't taken so many lately.
He just said I hadn't taken so many lately. He's been on tablets, he's been on medication, he's got a blood pressure monitor. He's not been taking the tablets or monitoring his blood pressure. I wonder why it's gone high, Alan.
I don't want you worrying, because I have been to the doctors and the hospital about it, and I've got an appointment on Wednesday. So I will not be live, but I will post on my Facebook. I will post on my group the result of what happens on Wednesday for you. So keep an eye on them. Keep an eye here.
So the information will be out there somewhere, but I don't know exactly where because I couldn't understand what he was saying. But I think he means Facebook, and I don't care enough to stalk his Facebook. So
yeah, I wasn't relaxed, Liz. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see what doing a live did to me, and it raised my blood pressure.
Yeah, obviously, because you've been sat there talking about all the things that make you stressed. You specifically said about how stressed the court case was making you.
So obviously, I won't be able to go live for a while now.
So now you can't go live
until I sort this out. So doing the live sends it up. Bad news sends it up. Being anxiety sends it up. And I can't tell you.
So there's no way he's going to come on and do an interview with me, is there?
The pressure I'm under with this court case. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the court case, do you?
Why don't you just tell everyone?
It's elevated. And I can't afford expensive lawyers all the time. I'm doing the best I can.
You mean you're copy and pasting things off the internet all the time?
I mean, isn't it long enough now? 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's coming to a head.
Isn't
Back up and running. Had a little dropout. Back up and running. He was just about to say, if you are a troll, I might have to, if I am a troll. I'm not a troll. I'm a detractor, Alan. My computer memory's okay. Yeah, okay, we're okay.
And you want to do 6 years. I can't afford expensive lawyers all the time. I'm doing the best I can. I mean, isn't it long enough now? 6 years ago. Isn't 6 years enough to go, that's enough? That's enough now. Leave me alone, right? If you are a troll and you want to do 6 years, leave me alone. I'm not on YouTube. I don't want to talk about that case.
Except you talk about it all the time still?
Leave me alone. You want...
And you're not on YouTube, but you are on TikTok, where there's a much younger audience. You know? I'll let you have your Rumble. I like watching it and laughing at it, to be honest, but I think you should do more fun stuff. But your TikTok's got to go, Alan. Like, that's part of the deal.
135. Well, that's yours now, is it? 135 is okay, Liz. 135 is okay. Oh, 200. I was 200 this morning. It's off the chart. And no one can say I'm making this up, can they? I just showed you live. Live. You're going to do it. Oh, he's making it up to get sympathy off you. No, I'm not.
I don't think he's making it up to get sympathy off them, but I think he's doing it live to get sympathy off them. But I don't think he's making up that he's got high blood pressure, hypertension, anxiety. Like, I think those things are reasonable for someone who spent their life doing the things he's been doing. Like I described earlier about his lifestyle, his health choices, his food choices, his drink choices, his drug choices. You know, like this is his choices. Guilt I don't really put on him. I think he's done bad things and he's worried that he will seek, have consequence. I think he's worried that there'll be consequence. Like, this doesn't worry him as much because I don't think he is scared there'll be so much consequence, really. But I think the consequence of his recent racist tirades and specific episodes that were racist that he's taken down, just like that lady took down her tweets. I think he's worried about that. Like, this is his own, and the court case, he knows he's going to lose, so he's worried about that. Like, these are things that he's done, so like, he kind of deserves it, no?
England.
What did he do live? He took his own blood pressure, Arcan. He took his own blood pressure.
Thanks for caring. Thanks for being here. I will post what the doctor says on Wednesday on Patreon. In the meantime, I'm going to have to really relax and try to work out what to do with this court case.
Relax and work out what you're going to do with the court case. What you're going to do with the court case is await the judgment. That's what you're going to do now. And relax, well, the methods he uses for relaxation, which are going to be lean on his addictions because he's a narcissist, they're going to be like sadism, alcoholism. It's going to be bad, his relaxation spree, I imagine. I imagine he'll be spending a lot of money on poker. And I don't know how relaxed he'll get from that, but what he did live was he took his blood pressure. I'll play it one more time, and then we've got one more tiny treat, which is we're going to check his Patreon for the updates, and he's written a story. So
I put that on there, and this goes on my arm up here somewhere. You can see my arm, can't you? So all you do, this is, I would say all of you should do this at some time. So it catches it there. Then you press start. Hopefully better than it was this afternoon. So when you do it, it does slightly hurt because it pumps. It really squeezes the. When you get used to it, like me, I've got to just keep calm. Keep calm. Fingers crossed, it's going to be less, around 180, which is still massive high. But I'm hoping it will give us a reading that's not ridiculous. Or you can watch it yourselves. It's taking notes now. The machine's taking notes as it comes down through. So it's measuring me. I'm sorry about the screen, but we'll get the picture. So it's doing it now, and it's not good. Not good. 187, 118. So I don't think I'll be doing a live bro.
Oosh. Have you ever seen the like? Have you ever seen the like? So, Alan, 9 hours ago, has posted on Patreon this fucking essay. Right? This essay. And before I read it, I want to play the song one more. I suppose I'll play this out on the song, actually. I'll play this out on the song. But the essay, then, the essay. It's like, how do I feel like I should give more like hype energy and be like, oh my god, look, he's done this, but like, I don't really know what to say about this, really. Like, I can't really get my head around it properly. Firefox, make it bigger for you so that you can see it. Computer enhance. This is just like total madness. Like, we're through a strange looking glass here into somewhere else now. New direction, interactive crime. You can be in AD stories. So I think what's happening here, before I get into his stories, right, is that Alan thinks he's not going to do any more content stream-wise, but he wants the money, yeah? He still wants the money, huh? Don't leave his Patreon fucking switch off. He's just told you he doesn't feel like he's going to do any more live streams. Not even updates on the court case that he loves so much. He's decided his blood pressure's too high for him to stream. But he still wants your money, so now you can be part of his stories. This is a little bit desperate, isn't it? New direction. And his stories, as he describes here, I'll read it for you. So let's meet in Patreon and solve fictional crimes. Workshops you can be part of the story live. To start you off, here's one I wrote. with the help of AI, you could be one of the cast. So what Alan's done is he's gone on to AI and he said, artificial intelligence, please write me a story called The Armchair Detective, chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever. Write me a story, make sure the main character's called Alan, write me a story, and it's just done that. And that's it. So if you want, you can replace any of these names with your name. It's not an interactive experience. You have to read it, and that's it. And it's not a particularly good story. I mean, it's a reasonable piece of work from AI, but it's a piece of work from AI. So Alan's done nothing at all, and you could do this yourself. Like, if you think this is good and you like it, and you want to pay Alan's Patreon to be part of it, you could just do it yourself anyway. You just don't have to have Alan. It's AI. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that would be like copyright material, maybe, even though it's AI. And I can't be arsed, but let me just give you a little segments. Chapter 1, a murder in the night. In the sleepy town of Clearwater, nothing much ever happened. The locals were used to their quiet routines, punctuated only by the occasional community event or rowdy night at O'Malley's pub. But that all changed when the body of Evelyn Harper was discovered in her home, lifeless and surrounded by evidence that suggested a violent struggle. Alan Vinnicombe was a man in his early 60s, a weathered face that hinted at a life full of stories. For decades, he'd been the owner of the Brass Lantern, the town's most beloved pub. But after selling the business a few years ago, he found himself with more time on his hands than he knew what to do with. So he turned to one of his old hobbies, studying CCTV and body cam footage. One evening, as Vinnicombe sat in his armchair, sipping on a glass of his favourite whiskey, an idea began to form in his mind. He knew that Evelyn lived on Maple Street, a place where several businesses had security cameras installed. He wondered if the police had thoroughly reviewed all available CCTV footage from that night. Oh, what's happened now? We've done loads of message. Hang on. Oh, is he streaming? Is he streaming now? Okay. Okay. I'll keep an eye on that. We're all good. Everything's fine, isn't it? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We'll keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on that. For someone who said he can't stream, he's streaming, which is great. I hope he will stream. I hope he doesn't just jaff it in. Like, this is incredible in itself, right? So I'm not going to read the whole thing, like I said. Like, it's like literally just there on his Patreon, so you can all see it. But like, who's got the arsing time to read a fucking self-flagellation document from Alan saying how he's good? Vinnicombe's mind began to race. He needed more information. He decided to visit another friend, the owner of a cafe a few blocks down, to see if their cameras might have caught the car driving by. Vinnicombe rewound the footage and watched it again, this time focusing on the car. It was an older model with a dent on the passenger side. He couldn't make out the license plate, but the details were enough to raise suspicion. His thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Detective Lawson, looking weary but determined. Word had spread that Vinnicombe had been asking around about the footage, and she was curious to know why. This changes everything, Lawson murmured. This changes everything, Lawson murmured, her mind already working to connect the dots. It's like Alan's fantasy made real, where he's like a detective checking, like he owns a bar and he's checking the footage and the police are coming to him and he's solving the murder. And it's written by AI. Thompson was arrested and charged with the murder of Evelyn Harper. Detective Lawson visited Vinnicombe one last time to thank him. You should be back on the force, she joked, though there was a hint of seriousness in her tone. Vinnicombe smiled, shaking his head. I'm happy right where I am, he replied, but if you ever need a second pair of eyes... Lawson nodded, knowing this wouldn't be the last time Clearwater's very own armchair detective would lend a hand in solving a mystery. As she left, Vinnicombe settled back into his armchair, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. The puzzle had been solved, and once again his sharp mind had made all the difference. Like, what a wanker. Like, what a wanker. As he reached for his next book, a thought crossed his mind. There's always another mystery waiting to be unravelled, and when it appeared, he'd be ready. the end, Alan Vinnicombe. And he's put Alan Vinnicombe at the end like he wrote it. He didn't write it. AI wrote it. He can't write like this. It's a computer wrote it. So it's not that valuable. But like now Alan is an author. And Ocean's Daughter says, AD, I love this idea. I'm not sure how we subs would participate with this project, given that it's a solved crime. If you or one of your spanners see this comment, please let me know. I love reading. It's my favourite pastime. And I enjoy reading true crime stories, fictional or real. Thank you for starting my day with a smile. And Sheila says, I'm in. So like, they're into it, the two of them. I'm into it. I mean, in a way, I like, because I've picked out little bits, little excerpts, like reading people's whole books out on the internet is actually copyright, believe it or not. You know, it is. I don't know if they did it with this, but in a way, like, you know, there's going to have to be, if he carries on with this, and maybe I should dedicate an episode to reading this entire thing properly with maybe a couple of friends, because I've got friends who can voice the characters. Maybe we turn this into a radio play, and he can't stop me doing that. Oh, maybe he could, I don't know, but it'd be funny as fuck, wouldn't it? Like, who would play Alan Vinnicombe? Who wants to play Alan? And he's like the hero of this, and everything's going really well for him, and he owns a bar and everyone loves him, and the police lady comes round. I bet she's got long brown hair. Like, next we want the case of the missing Nicole Kessinger. Maybe she'll turn up in his literature. Maybe she'll turn up in his literature. You know, maybe Nicole will get written in. Maybe in his mind, that's the detective. I mean, I say his mind. Obviously, AI does it. He just tells the AI what to do. He's like, make me look good. Make me look like I solved the crime. Write this again, but make it look like I solved the crime. I don't even know if he did it, or maybe one of his supporters did it, but he's only got 3 now, so... And he sold this to them on Patreon as, let's meet together in Patreon and solve fictional crimes. It's a workshop and you can be part of the story live, and it's interactive and it's a new direction. But people went there to give him money on Patreon because he talked on the internet about true crime cases and he was trying to solve real true crimes. So getting artificial intelligence to write nonsense case files where he looks brilliant is like some fucking psychotic delusion, and I don't think anyone would want to pay money for it. Like, it's like getting AI to do pictures of you that, like, I tell you what it's like, it's filters, isn't it? It's like getting AI to work on you so that you feel better about yourself. Like living in a fucking delusional narcissistic la-la land. Like, imagine if AI could do films, like, you know, and it will do in the future, won't it? It won't take long. But, you know, he'd sit and watch himself as Indiana Jones winning the day, having a great time, and feel better when he went to bed. Like, that's how he's going to feel better about his panic problems, is to pretend that everything's all right in his fantasy world, where he's a detective in a fucking story, and he solved the case by looking at the CCTV. And isn't it funny the way it mirrors his own actual problems in his life? Like, in this story, he solves it by looking at the CCTV. No, it's not like what got him into this fucking mess on the internet by doing the Chris Watts case. Like, but in this world, he's like the big hero. This changes everything, Lawson murmured, her mind already working to connect the dots. Vinnicombe followed the case closely, felt a sense of satisfaction, but something still bothered him, the motive. Why would Thompson, a seemingly ordinary man, murder Evelyn Harper? It wasn't until a few days later the final piece of the puzzle fell into place. An anonymous tip led the police to discover that Evelyn had been investigating a series of fraudulent insurance claims that had been processed by Thompson's garage. This just gets thrown in at the end. You're never going to work that out, are you, by reading the story? So it's not a very good story. Like, it's not like AI didn't craft it very well with like all the bits of evidence and the way that you could work it out and this and that. It's just Alan saying how good he is. What had started as a way to keep an eye on rowdy patrons and potential thieves during his pub days had grown into a full-blown obsession. Vinnicombe had spent countless hours poring over surveillance footage. Now, again, like, he said that he used to watch the surveillance tapes from his pubs, and he did that to keep the ruffians out, yeah? But I don't believe that. I think Alan had just, like, started watching people on CCTV as, like, an obsession, like he says. Like, imagine going into a pub that Alan ran, and it still happens. Vinny's Bar still exists. They've got cameras around. Like, imagine what he's doing with the footage that he's watching. And imagine where the cameras are installed. Like, Alan's got an obsession with watching people over surveillance footage. He takes photographs of people in public without them knowing, and, like, we've seen that. Like, dodgy geezer, isn't he? Dodgy geezer. So, like, when you say streaming, let me have a quick look. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let's have a quick look. Let's go. Well, it's here, isn't it? AD Armchair Detective. Let's reload this. And is he live here or is he doing a patron? I think he might be doing a patron. I don't like watching his patrons live because you can't fast forward, stop, pause, rewind and just skip. So I don't like watching them live. These are the adverts on fucking Rumble. Is this not the same thing? I've just already watched it. Oh, this is the same one. I've already watched this.
It's gone up again.
We just watched this one.
Because I've done a live.
Because he's done a live. That's the same one. Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. He's not streaming tonight. He's been to doctors. Will he have updated his patron on his doctors? Is he going to have updated that? I wonder. No. He promised he would, and he simply hasn't. So there you go. And AD's on Twitter, new way, so we've got him on Twitter now. Well, what's the point in this? AD's secret channel, he's put it public. So you can see it. AD's secret channel is just a way of him posting the things that he's already posted on other social media. So it's a waste of time. He's not going to use it to communicate, is he? There's no one there listening. Look, 56 views, 49 views, 33 views on that. Like, no one's there watching it or looking at it. So it doesn't matter. Sad. Sad. He didn't update us. So all we've got, you know, for your pudding there, all you've got is this wonderful story that he's written. Vinnicombe contacting an old friend who, I mean, I know that I'm obligated in some way to deliver the entirety of this, but it's just AI shit. And I, you know, can you have me sitting here reading the entire thing? No, shut up. You've got the gist of it now. I've read you the bits where he looks like a nutter. I mean, I've even read you a bit. I don't know how he managed to get this about the rowdy patrons and the obsession. Like, it makes him look like an actual, like, psychotic nut job who's been stockpiling footage from CCTV cameras, doesn't it? He knew how to read people's behaviour on cameras if it was second nature. This made him a sort of unofficial expert in the town, a man people turned to when they needed a second opinion or on security issues. Like, no one turns to Alan for anything, except his kids maybe for money sometimes. What a bizarre state of affairs. You read it. You want me to read the whole thing? Like, I feel like what I might do is I might do that and upload it as a separate thing, like, because I can't be arsed. And it might maybe members content. I don't know. Like, I'm not really worried about the copyright aspect of it, like I said, because like it's just AI nonsense. But look at the length of it, and it's a full story. Oh, for God's sake! Like, no, I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it now. We're at 2 hours 53 minutes. I'm going to roll to nearly 3 hours. I'm not reading the whole thing. I've read you some selected bits, and it's just there on Patreon. You could just go and look at it. I'm not reading it all, but what I probably will do is I'll probably read it with a friend, reading some voices. I'll probably read it myself and get a friend to read the voices, and then present it as a video. Maybe. No, we can put it in the back burner, can't we? We can put it in the back burner. Put it in the back burner. Who's this Alan? This is this Alan.
I have a dream. I have a dream. I always had a dream like my daddy before me. So I
That's Alan. Seeing my kids on Smule. The famous armchair detective. That's Alan. That's our Alan.
Bang!
So there you go. There's another episode of Alan the Armchair Detective.
Bang!
And also,
do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts.
I mean, I think I'm done now, really. What are we at? 10:42. Run the show. I've told you all about Alan. I know that you want me to read that whole thing out, but honestly, there's a limit, isn't there? Like, we'll come back and do more of it. It's there. It won't go away. He seems to not want to. I wonder what will happen, though. I wonder if he's going to come back to streaming at all. I wonder if he's going to just play it cool for the court case, have his meltdown after the court case, and then return. You know, his health isn't going to get any better, I doubt, because he's not going to live a healthier lifestyle, really, I don't think. I even said in this video, he didn't sleep all night, then he woke up, and then an hour before the show, he did the reading again. Like, he woke up an hour before the show. So, like, I don't think he's living that healthy. I don't think he's got it on him to do so. So I predict things are going to get worse for him, not better. And I think it's a great disappointment for us if he doesn't go live on the internet and explain how things are going, because, like, that's the ongoing story of his fucking life on the internet, isn't it? Like, it seems a shame if he would hide under a rock and, like, you know, do the coward's way out. But he will do the coward's way out, because he is a coward. You know, he's not, like, when it comes to the court case and stuff, we're going to find out the ruling. Like, we're going to obviously find out. But Alan's not going to be, like, big and vocal and, you know, leading up to this. He's already found himself a little get out of jail free, or get out of jail, you know, an exit door, a coward's way out. Sorry, I feel like my blood pressure's too high, I can't do streams anymore. Like, he's even found the coward's way out of doing his own content, hasn't he? But the truth is that he's ruined, and he's got ruined because of his own behaviour. And all I've done is highlight it on the internet. He feels it's sad that he bumped into the chuffer on the internet, isn't it? It's sad that he ran into the chuffer, but, you know, the chuffer's got an eye for things and can call them out and tell them as they are, and then people can just see it for themselves. All right, so there you go. Adam got ruined on the internet, and he's going to coward out now, isn't he? He's going to coward out. Don't coward out, Alan. Come back and do Torchy, the Battery Boy episodes. Come back and do Torchy. Tell us about your favourite TV when you were a kid. Do an episode about Alan's favourite films. Come on my show and do an interview about the football or about something normal, and then we'll build up. Well, we won't. Let's do the proper interview, Alan. Come on my show and do the proper interview about why you're such a chuffer, really. That's what you should do. You know, if you want to get paid, you can do that. But if you want, you can do half hour on just fucking nonsense on here. Right. Come on and do that. When I say nonsense, I mean nonsense, don't I, Alan? Nonsense. He's never coming on here. He's never coming on here. I have to read it. All right, look. Okay. I said I wasn't. Everyone's left. I'll do it quickly. I will then. Fuck you. I'll do it now then. I told everyone I wasn't going to. This is like the opposite of getting your hopes up and then having them dashed. I told you I wasn't going to do it, and now I will. Fuck it. In the sleepy town of Clearwater, and should I do it in my reader's voice, like my proper, you know, because I've got a proper voice for this. Alan doesn't. So, in the sleepy town of Clearwater, my tummy's rumbling now, you fuckers. Nothing much ever happened. The locals were used to their quiet routines, punctuated only by the occasional community event or rowdy night at O'Malley's pub. But that all changed when the body of Evelyn Harper was discovered in her home, lifeless and surrounded by evidence that suggested a violent struggle. Evelyn, a retired schoolteacher, was beloved by the community. Her death sent shockwaves through the town, and the police were under immense pressure, to solve the case quickly. Detective Sarah Lawson, a seasoned investigator from the city, was brought in to lead the investigation, but as days turned into weeks, no substantial leads emerged, and the case began to grow cold. Chapter 2. The Armchair Detective. Alan Vinnicombe was a man in his early 60s with a he says with a weathered face, but I read it as in Weatherspoons. With a weathered face that hinted at a life full of stories. For decades, he'd been the owner of the Brass Lantern, the town's most beloved pub. But after selling the business a few years ago, he found himself with more time on his hands than he knew what to do with. So he turned to one of his old hobbies, studying CCTV and body cam footage. What had started as a way to keep an eye on rowdy patrons and potential thieves during his pub days had grown into a full-blown obsession. Vinnicombe had spent countless hours poring over surveillance footage, jerking off, training his eyes to spot the smallest details, an odd movement, a suspicious glance, or a car that shouldn't be there. He knew how to read people's behaviour on camera as if it were second nature. This made him a sort of unofficial expert in the town, a man people turned to when they needed a second opinion on security issues. Now, I would say at this point, I'm going to pause for fair use. You know, I'm not supposed to just, you know, it is still content. I'm just not supposed to just rip it off like that. I think it's shit. I think even the AI has done a bad job of writing this. It's not a very interesting story. It's all about saying how good Alan is. I think it's shit. There's no even information about the murder, is there? It's just someone's dead. Vinnicombe had been following the news of Evelyn Harper's murder with great interest. Clearwater was a small town. He'd known Evelyn in passing, just enough to feel a sense of injustice at her untimely death. Why injustice? But more than that, he was frustrated by the lack of progress in the investigation. One evening, as Vinnicombe sat in his armchair, sipping on a glass of his favourite whiskey, an idea began to form in his mind. He knew Evelyn lived on Maple Street, a place where several businesses had security cameras installed. He wondered if the police had thoroughly reviewed all available CCTV footage from that night. So that chapter's rubbish, in my fair use opinion. Chapter 3, The Footage. Vinnicombe contacted an old friend who owned a small electronics store on Maple Street. He asked for a favour. Could his friend check the CCTV footage from the night of the murder? Vinnicombe wasn't sure what he was looking for, but he had a gut feeling that something had been overlooked. A few days later, his friend, and this can't be right because Alan doesn't have friends. He's got racists who badger him in the pub, yeah, but no friends. A few days later, his friend delivered the footage on a USB drive. Vinnicombe wasted no time. He plugged it into his computer and began to comb through the hours of grainy black and white footage. Why is it such bad footage? It was tedious work, but Vinnicombe's patience and eye for detail kept him going. After several hours, something caught his eye. At around 11:45 on the night of the murder, a car pulled up across the street from Evelyn's house. A man got out and quickly walked towards her front door, disappearing from view. It's a bit like the Chris Watts thing. The footage wasn't clear enough to identify the man, but Vinnicombe could make out the shape of his coat, long and dark, with a distinct oversized collar. How had no one seen this? Alan's a genius. He saw a man on CCTV and solved the case. It's just like real life, this. Vinnicombe rewound the footage and watched it again, this time focusing on the car. It was an older model, something from the early 2000s, with a dent on the passenger side. He's got a dent in his head, Alan. He couldn't make out the licence plate, but the details were enough to raise suspicion. So there's, like, Vinnicombe's mind began to race. He needed more information. He called another friend, the cafe owner, to see if their camera caught anything. So there's another chapter. I have to fair use. I have to analyse and talk. Can't just read it out, you know. You know, it's dog shit. I don't think you can even copyright it because it's AI. I don't think you can own the AI. I think ChatGPT own it. Grok owns it, or whoever. Vinnicombe rewound the footage and watched it again. Anyway, chapter 4, piecing it together. The cafe's footage was more revealing. Vinnicombe managed to spot the same car driving at 11:40 and again at 12:15, this time heading away from Evelyn's house. More importantly, the footage from the cafe's camera was at a different angle. This is so boring. He says he's wearing a beard and a cap. Vinnicombe printed out the frames showing the man's face, then sat in his chair pondering his next step. Why had the police missed it? His thoughts were interrupted by a knock on the door. It was Detective Lawson, looking weary but determined. She was asking about the footage. Vinnicombe invited her in, showed her the footage. Her eyes widened as she realised what they were looking at. She had indeed reviewed the footage, but the police had dismissed the car as unrelated, focusing instead on potential suspects with well-known motives. This changes everything, she murmured. So chapter 5, there's a confrontation. With new evidence, Lawson went and interviewed Mark Thompson, a mechanic, and it turned out he'd done it. We covered that bit earlier. Chapter 6, justice served. Thompson was arrested. The detective visited Vinnicombe to say how good he is. We'd covered that earlier. And it's just so... I can't read it all. It's such dog shit. It's such dog shit. The premise is there was a crime. No one knew what had happened, even the police, because they hadn't looked at the CCTV. But then Alan looked at the CCTV and saw a man on the CCTV, and that solved the case. Like, this is the writing of an 11-year-old. Oh my god, I'm glad I read it. I mean, I'm not reading it word for word, every bit of it, copyright, and also I'm giving a review, but like, fucking hell, that's awful. Like, it was awful, this is. It's awful. It's like the worst true crime story you've ever heard. There was a crime, no one knew who did it. So this wonderful Alan did exactly what the police had already done and looked at the CCTV, but he was better than the police, so he saw a man. And when they interviewed the man, it turned out he'd got insurance problems and that he'd done it. So Alan was satisfied in his work, but he won't join the police again. He's happy where he is, at the bar, in his armchair, in a bar, in a bar in an armchair. Like, he's such a wanker. In fact, I can do my own stories. Like, I can do him where Alan's a bad wanker, can't I? Look, Like, I probably won't want me to do a story where Alan's a bad wanker, but right, how many words do I want? Not many. I don't want many. I'm going to read them out. Right, 500-word short synopsis of a story where Alan Vinnicombe is the criminal stalker that everyone is worried about in Exmouth because he is very stressed and he relieves his stress by committing sadistic, you probably won't want to do sadistic crimes. Okay. In the quiet seaside town of Exmouth, a shadow looms over the community, striking fear into the hearts of its residents. The shadow has a name, Alan Vinnicombe. Once an ordinary man, known for his unassuming demeanour and his job as an accountant, Alan is now the most feared individual in Exmouth. Beneath his calm exterior, however, lies a mind warped by stress and desperation. Leading him down a dark and twisted path, Alan's descent into madness began with the pressures of everyday life. Overworked, underappreciated and struggling with financial burdens, they got that right. He felt trapped in a monotonous existence that offered no relief, they got that right. Well, he gets hand relief. The stress built up layer by layer until it reached a breaking point. For most people, stress manifests itself in ways like irritability, fatigue or withdrawal. But for Alan, it morphed into something far more sinister, an insatiable urge to inflict pain and suffering on others. What began as small acts of cruelty, kicking stray animals, breaking windows under the cover of darkness, soon escalated. Alan discovered that these acts brought him a disturbing sense of relief, a twisted catharsis that he could find nowhere else in his life. The more he indulged in his sadistic tendencies, the more he craved the release they provided. Soon Exmouth was gripped by a mysterious and set of... Look, this is so long. I said short. Soon Exmouth was gripped by a series of mysterious and gruesome crimes. I'm not going to read them out because we're on YouTube. The local police were baffled. Despite their best efforts, they had no leads. The criminal was careful, methodical, leaving no evidence behind. Alan's mild-mannered persona allowed him to blend seamlessly into the background, hiding in plain sight. No one suspecting the quiet accountant with a penchant for routine could be behind such horrific acts. As his crimes grew in intensity, so did the risk of being caught. This once invisible man was beginning to attract unwanted attention. Yet Alan was no longer concerned with getting caught. His only focus was the next fix, the next rush of power that came from dominating another human being. The story of Alan Vinnicombe is a chilling reminder of the lengths to which an ordinary person can go when pushed to the brink. His transformation from a stressed-out accountant to sadistic stalker, maybe change accountant to wanker, sadistic stalker, illustrates the terrifying potential for darkness that lies within us all. In the end, Alan's reign of terror is not just a story of a man losing his humanity, but of a community grappling with the realisation that true evil can hide behind the most benign of faces. So, there you go. That's better than his story. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Listen, it's last orders at the bar now. You've had yours. Last orders at the bar. Say what you want in chat. Get it out of your system. I'm going to play a song about why Alan is a paedophile, or why I think it's a reasonable assumption to make. And then I'm going to turn off the stream. Are you all happy with that? I might come back on Twitch after I've had some food because my tummy's rumbling. But I do feel like I still want to play my video games tonight. So what do you want from me? Are you all right with this? Are you happy with this? Has this gone too far? Has it finally gone too far? Or can we just have a bit of fun on the internet talking about what other people have said on the internet? Is that okay? Is that okay, or is it not okay? I think if they've said it on the internet, I suppose it's okay. Good luck with your channel, son. Good luck with your channel, son.
If a man was singing karaoke...
And you be good. And if you can't be good, you're naughty. Listen, thank you to everyone who did the tippies. Oh, I said I was going to gift out the free memberships. Engage with the audience. Let's do that now. If you've been here at the end, then you're the special ones, because I even said that we weren't carrying on and I said it was over. So to the people that were here all the way and then left beforehand, sorry to you actually, but here's 5 gifted memberships. Boom. Yay, that's my gifted memberships for the month. So hopefully that'll work because it's processing now. Hooray! So there's gifted memberships from me to you. Thank you from you to me, from me to you. Thank you for giving me the tippies and for watching and for being members and, you know, and all that. You know, thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who updates their membership while we're offline and, you know, it's not a live show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm really grateful. To play us out is the follow-up, I suppose, to Body in the River, because it's a similar sort of style, and this song is called Would You Call It That a Paedophile. I've played it before on the show, but you know, I might as well play it again, eh? So you be good. If you can't be good, you're naughty, and if you can't be good and you are naughty, I hope your blood pressure doesn't involve your head popping off. I hope your blood pressure doesn't mean your head's going to pop. No alarm and distress caused, you know.
If a man was singing karaoke with little kids on stool behind the scenes, would you call him a pedophile? If they were all Asian kids, if man had an agency to sell escorts, men and women, boys and girls, would you call him a pedophile? It's intimate knowledge of what age the pedos want them and how they operate.
Thank you very much, Big Chris, for the 99p. We know that makes a certain train driver pretty cross, doesn't it? Oh, someone getting well eggy about that right at the end of the show. Thank you, Big Chris. Big ups you. Big ups.
It's admitting to searching for child prongs on the internet. Would you call that a pedophile? If a man was caught searching Google for mother licks come off a daughter's face, would you call him a pedophile? If he said it was research, if he said it was research, locking underage girls in a pub, he ran trips to violent pictures with lady boys, a general fascination with dead kids on the internet. Sell them the pictures like pizza orders to America. Burning hard drives, would you call that a pedophile? Admitting to taking candid iPhone snaps of strangers in public places, on public beaches, would you call that a pedophile?